You're listening to The Pete Sheppard Show.
Well, I think the biggest thing is initially, I think as a coach and a leader, I have to teach, and what levels of anger does that bring out of me? Well, it's about intent. So, were you unprepared for with a controllable? Were you unprepared for the game based upon assignment? That triggers me. So when that did happen, it wasn't the major thing, but when it did happen, yeah, I was pissed.
Wow, the rage of Charlie Brown, a.k.a. Mike McDaniel, head coach, soon to be fired of the Miami Dolphins. Wow. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday edition of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. We got lots of NFL. We got NFL action tonight. We got college football tonight, and we got a lot to discuss today on the show. Huge show coming up today. We'll get to all the guests in a moment. Thanks for checking us out here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network across the video platform. Following me at pshep326 on X, on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, CSDN Florida, LinkedIn. Of course, we're on the Odyssey app, and we're on the awesome SR1029, the game app, as well. You can text the show 727-858-6650. No video today, no Angel Martinez today, so can't call, but certainly text. We're going to have a lot of fun today, and we got a lot to discuss, particularly with this Miami Dolphin Patriot game coming up on Sunday. And no one's talking about the Patriots at all. The whole week thus far, has all been about the Miami Dolphins and how bad they looked on Sunday and all of that, and I've been piling on as well, and will continue to do so. And I will not be able to handle it. I am telling you, if the Patriots come down here on Sunday, which I do not expect them to do, and lay an egg, I'm going to absolutely be devastated. Anyway, I do believe, I am in the camp that if Mike McDaniel loses and the Dolphins lose this week, that he's getting fired. And I don't care if it's by 3 points, 7 points, or 10 points. There are other people that are out there that think he's going to last another 5 or 6 games. I don't see it. I do not see it. But first things first, everybody is crapping all over Miami, and I get it. In the past, I have always said teams that get humiliated in the NFL usually come back with a decent sort of vengeance the following week. Now, if there's any residue of pride left with the Miami Dolphins, They can't play worse. They can't play worse. I mean, you got guys on that team that were talking about how they quit. I don't think they showed up in the first place, but then they quit. The coach is non-inspirational at all. And, Tyreek Hill now is under NFL investigation as well for the alleged 8 domestic abuse charges against him by his former partner, again, alleged. There's just a lot going on with the Miami Dolphins, and none of it seems to be good. We're going to get the press conferences yesterday from not only Mike Vrabel, but also from Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel, who just heard the outrage. I can't take the guy seriously when he speaks about that. I just can't. And I'm not the only one. There are others. Wait to hear Cameron Wolfe. He used to work for ESPN. Cameron does a great job covering the team, and now he does a great job with the NFL Network. But we got a lot to discuss today. We're going to begin with the Patriots in Miami, NFL. Green Bay hosting Washington tonight. The Green Bay Packers, just a slight 3-point favorite tonight, the total of 48.5. We got college football tonight as well. Big ACC matchup with NC State at Wake Forest. These two teams, by the way, been playing every year since 1910. And the Wolfpack favored by 7 on the road at Wake in Winston-Salem. Interesting there. A couple of stats from that game. Teams are 5-5 in their last 10. NC State, though, 3-9 on the road, the last 12 in this series. And Wake won last year on the road, 34-30. Their 7-point underdogs. The total is 52.5. I will have my picks on both games coming up later on. Coming off an outstanding 13-3 week in the NFL against the spread, not picking winners, against the spread, 13-3. It's documented. You can go back to listen on Friday's show. It's all there for you. And then 1-0 on my best bets, which was the LA Rams -3. And my underdog of the week last week also won with the Iowa Hawkeyes +3.5. I did go only 2-3 in college football, but 13-3 in the NFL. Won my best bet, won my underdog of the week. So we're cruising, baby. Off to a good start. All right, there's a lot to discuss again with the in the NFL. I do want to say quickly, never forget. This is 9/11. I'm not going to. I've told the story before how difficult it was being on the air with Glenn that day. Probably the hardest broadcast I've ever had to do in my life. But we got through it. Glenn was unbelievable that day, and it's just something that you never forget. And then you had the Charlie Kirk situation. The incredible, unfortunate assassination of Charlie Kirk yesterday. Just as outrageous and crazy as what happened in Minnesota not too long ago and a lot of other places. That's all I'm going to say. I just, both sides got to. It's out of control. It's out of control. We got to stop as a nation. We got to come together and just stop, because it's kind of frightening. It's kind of frightening. And I don't care what political side you're on. It's bad on both sides. It's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And I hope we can all come together as a nation, find a peaceful solution. But again, this day, 9/11, as far as that goes, never forget. And thanks to all the servicemen out there, men and women, obviously, and as well for all that you do to try in keeping this great country of ours safe. Speaking of veterans, no Angel Martinez today. He'll be back, hopefully, tomorrow. So with that said, let's move on to sports here. We're going to hear from Alex Golish, who tell you what, the CW, God bless you people. This is going to be the highest rated game on the CW. So people get flustered. I don't know why this day and age, when it comes to cable TV or whatever you use, I have YouTube TV, whatever app that you use, whatever service you use to watch anything. Why is it for some, if it's not like on conventional TV, that it's like, oh, what are you going to do? The CW is a fine network. They show college football every single week. Maybe not the games you'd like to see, but nevertheless, they show a lot of ACC stuff on that network. And they just happen to have, because this was scheduled a few weeks ago, they happen to have USF and Miami coming up at 4:15 on Saturday afternoon from Hard Rock. You would think, I see some people like, why can't I find the CW? What do you mean you can't find it? What do you mean you can't find it? You can find any channel. Most of you have, just speak into the microphone. Speak into your controller. If not, just scroll down. It's there. It's no different than your local, I don't care where you are in the country or where you are in the world. You can find any game. Almost every single college football game is Division I is on TV. Every single one, every week. And if it's not on conventional TV, the only thing else, it's on ESPN+. But 99% of the games, some way, somehow, are televised. It is not that difficult. If it is not on your local ABC, CBS, NBC affiliate, or ESPN, ACC Network, SEC Network, ESPNU, ESPN News, if it's not on those platforms, why do people freak out? Oh my God! It could be on FS1. Who cares where it is? You can find it. It's not that difficult. Scroll down on your guide. The CW is right there. You'll be able to find it. Now, do I wish it was a night game? Yeah, but I don't mind a 4:15 game. The weather's supposed to be decent, and this game. All I'm saying, this is probably going to be the biggest game for that network on the CW, because they've already talked about next week's game against the Gators. That's either going to be at 7 or 7:30. That is either going to be on ABC or ESPN. If it's 7:30, it's going to be on ABC. If it's 7, it'll be on ESPN. Again, I don't care. I don't care when it is. The Florida State game, that time has not been determined yet as far as I know either. I'm assuming that's going to be at night. But USF getting a lot of good love this week around Watch College Football Live yesterday. So Alex Golish, the head coach, he was on, and terrific. We heard earlier this week what Mario Cristobal had said about USF. It's going to be a really good football game, I think. The Hurricanes are favored big in this one, but Last year in the second half they clobbered them. I mean, they won. They won pretty handily. But this is a good football team. This Southern Florida Bulls is a good football team. Can Miami win by the spread? Every favored by 18, just like and USF was underdogs last week by that same amount, and the Gators couldn't even get to 18 points. They only had 16. So USF getting a lot of love, and it's possible. I never rule anything out. But should they upset Miami, that would be one of the few teams ever to go 3-0 on the road against 3 ranked teams and win. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go up against because they were home against Boise State. They beat Boise State, ranked 25. They beat the Gators, and they were ranked 15th or 14th. Beat them, and now Miami is ranked number 5. It's the highest ranked opponent they've ever played in USF history. So we will get to that. We will hear from Alex Golish. Good interview we had on Sirius XM NFL, Sirius XM College Football Radio. So anything you want to text or complain about or whatever, I really want to hear from Dolphin fans. And I look at some of these comments, and I'm not just saying it as someone as a lifelong Patriot fan, as you know. But I do, and are there things I'm worried about this week? Yeah, you're damn right there's things I'm worried about this week with my team. There's no question about it. All the focus has been on Miami and their misery. And I think we're going to know fairly early if the Dolphins come to play. And if Mike Vrabel is a very smart coach, I hope the game plan offensively is a little different than last week. We're going to hear from Stephon Diggs. We're going to hear from Mike Vrabel as well. They got to they got to play like they got pressure on Geno Smith, but really only in the second quarter. That's the only time the Patriots got pressure. They got to get to Tua because when he gets rattled, he stinks. And guess what? You're never going to believe this, but if you get pressure up the middle, you can disrupt the quarterback. Remember how many times you used to hear about a Tom Brady? I used to be like, if you pressure Brady up the middle, if you pressure anybody up the middle. No, yeah, I know Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, a couple others can scramble out a little bit better. But basically, the rule applies that if you get pressure up the middle on any quarterback, you're going to have a pretty good day overall. Because a lot of times they get pressure. It's not like everybody, even the Lamar Jacksons of the world and the Jalen Hurts of the world and the Josh Allens of the world, even they sometimes scramble out and throw the ball out of bounds. And Tua, you just never know. Any type of hit that he takes, you never know what's going to happen with him. I just hope that the Patriots smell blood in the water and they come out with a ferociousness, absolutely ferociousness. They come out. Now, the defensive coordinator is going to be out for this game. He's got some health issues. Terrell Williams, he is out. So the special teams coach or the linebackers coach is taking over for this game. But I want to see a ferocious. Hopefully, Christian Gonzalez plays in this one. I'm looking at the injury report for the Patriots from yesterday. Christian Gonzalez did not participate yesterday. I don't know if he's going to participate today. Harold Leonard III, the linebacker, and still Gonzalez with a hamstring injury, foot injuries for Morgan Moses, the tackle. Harold Landry III, the linebacker, all three did not participate. Neither did Keon White. He had an illness. He did not participate. Kayshon Boutte, who was outstanding last week for the Patriots, he was limited with a shoulder. Christian Ellis, a linebacker, limited with a shoulder. Marte Mapu was limited with a neck injury. But Charles Woods, full participation. I never understand why the first injury report says full participation for Charles Woods, the cornerback, and it says groin. I just don't. It's the first practice of the week, so why even list them full participation? I don't care about full participants. I want to see people who are limited or DNP did not participate. All right. Let's get to it right now. We got a lot of. Let me get to the guest list today. Is absolutely fantastic, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with the exception of not having my man Angel Martinez with me. We have a great guest lineup. Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami. We will get the buzz of what's going on over there. Hurricanes, the Hurricanes obviously hosting USF should be sold out. It better be sold out. I'm sure USF is going to bring a lot of people into Hard Rock, and hopefully there will be a ton of Canes fans. It actually wasn't a bad crowd for a Bethune-Cookman game. I mean, I was there for the Notre Dame game with Sardine City. And I'm hoping that the place should be rocking. It's a nice 4:15 afternoon. As far as I know, the weather is going to be pretty good. But I worry about the Patriots in Miami the next day. Remember, you're playing at Hard Rock 2 days in a row. The Hurricanes Bulls game is not going to get over probably till 7:30 or so, 7:15, 7:30, and then you only have about less than 24 hours, about 18 hours to get that field back in shape and ready for the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. And I'm not just talking about logos for the Dolphins. I mean, just getting that field back in shape. And we shall see. It's a good thing that they're not playing in a monsoon. I can't even imagine if they played in a monsoon like they did against Notre Dame, that field, what it was like a couple of, a week ago Sunday, what that was like. And then you have very little time to get that field back in shape at Hard Rock for the Patriots and the Dolphins. So should be really interesting. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Let's begin. Again, Patriots are scheduled today. Jeremy Springer and Josh McDaniels speaking at 12:55. Locker room at 1:15. Practice is at 2. 4:15. Defensive assistants available, and Mike Vrabel and inside linebackers coach Zach Kerr will lead the defensive staff in absence of defensive coordinator Terrell Williams. Drake May. Got to be better. 1 of 3 in the red zone. Got to be better. 4 of 14 on third downs. The teamwork. Got to be better. And they only got 3 points when they held Oakland. It's always going to be Oakland to me. The Las Vegas Raiders last week, too. 3 3-and-outs and only got 3 points out of it. Got to be better. Got to get pressure on Tua Tagovailoa. This team is very, very vulnerable right now. And blood in the water, as I keep saying. I'm gonna play the Jaws theme on Sunday through my. I'm gonna listen on my headset and just play the Jaws theme over and over because that's what they should do. They need to attack. All right, let's get to it. Cameron Wolfe used to be at ESPN, does a great job. I've interviewed him a couple of times on various radio stations that I've worked for. He's fantastic, really good reporter. He was on NFL Network yesterday on game day and had this to say about the Miami Dolphins' embarrassing performance against the Colts and what they need to do this week against the Patriots.
Look, Ian, this is concerning. There's no other way to put it. You could say it's just week 1, but the way they lost, as Mike McDaniel put it, is embarrassing. And this is a team that had a lot of question marks coming into the season. And what's maybe most concerning is that their best players played the worst. And you got to start with their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. He talked all offseason about accountability, and he had 3 turnovers the first week. And so accountability has to start with him. He's got to play better. 2 bad interceptions. He just didn't look prepared for the moment. Lou Anarumo, the Colts defensive coordinator, threw a lot of looks at him, and quite frankly, he was confused. You go to the receivers, and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, neither of them had their best day. Devon Achane said that the sack fumble that Tua gave up was on him. He missed a protection. McDaniel mentioned Zach Sealer, maybe their most reliable defensive player, got outside of his lane and it led to an explosive. These are things that can't happen at this stage. And so there certainly is some concern. And I went into the locker room today and talked to one of their linebackers, Tyrell Dodson, and he said, we folded. He said, we are surprised by this, but we folded at the moment, and we have to prove that that's not who we are. And that's really the feel I got in the locker room talking to these guys, that they were shocked. Achane said we were surprised, and that we got to prove that's not who we are. But it, like you said, it's maybe getting dark early. And maybe even more concerning for this team is that there continues to be negative headlines. We heard today that Tyreek Hill, the league said they're having their standard look into his investigation. He's was accused of domestic violence by his ex-partner. And so Mike McDaniel said the Dolphins have talked to the league about that. Another headache for a team that has got more headaches than success at this point, and now heading to the Patriots week, they've got to figure out who they are as a team quickly.
Yeah, great stuff there by Cameron Wolfe. Really, really interesting. Nobody has said boo about the Patriots this week, which kind of scares me, and hopefully they just, again, smell blood in the water and absolutely take care of business. All right, here is Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel on facing Tua Tagovailoa and Miami. This from the Patriots.com.
We're certainly going to have to make them earn it, and we're going to have to find ways to get the drive stopped, right? You either have to do what the Colts did, which was turn it over, or you're going to have to, make a play along the way and make them earn it. Pick and choose your spots to try to be, aggressive. And it's not just Tyreek. I mean, they got a fantastic, orchestrator. I mean, Tua does a fantastic job of knowing where he wants to go with the ball. Quick delivery. He's extremely accurate. And then the speed with Waddle and Tyreek and the whole team. And then again, they have a fullback that has versatility and can play on the end of the line of scrimmage, motions. Usually every big play, he's kind of in the run game. He's somewhere near it.
All right, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel being too kind about Tua Tagovailoa, because you take away his first read and he becomes a sitting duck. He's not great at progression, and certainly it's just a question of the whole Miami Dolphin team. What kind of pride do they have? And as most NFL teams, I've said it before, said at the beginning of the show, when a team in the NFL gets destroyed, embarrassed, all that stuff, usually they come back with a pretty good vengeance. I'm not sure with this particular team, because I think that the coach, I think they've lost respect for him in a lot of ways. We'll hear from Tua in a second. I want to dummy me. I said Trevor Harris coming up the guest list, 8:05 from WQAM in Miami at 8:30. Was supposed to be Rick Horrow, our sports business guru. And he's very close to Stephen Ross, the Miami Dolphins, but he had some flight difficulties, so he will join us next week. But Bill Burt, great Bill Burt from the Eagle Tribune, covering the Patriots in Miami. I believe he's going to be down here this weekend, I think. Steve Buckley from The Athletic will join me at 9 o'clock. And then celebrity chef Derek Fox, talking food and football, coming up at 9:30 this morning. So we got a full show here today. All right, let's get back with the Patriots in Miami. And as I, again, can't do any video today, here is Tua Tagovailoa talking about all of the turnovers.
After the game the other day, there was an exchange that got a lot of traction on social media regarding the turnovers and bunches thing. Mm-hmm. Now that you've had time to think about it, do you stand by what you said, or is there anything you would like to modify?
Well, saying what? I don't know what you're referring to.
Well, your quote, I believe, was something to the effect of how you didn't get that you would be asked why you turned the ball over in bunches.
That I said it was crazy that I turned the ball over in bunches?
You were questioning why you were being asked that question.
I don't think I questioned it. I thought I said it was crazy. Yeah. So I think that's two different things with questioning it. But it's not like I look to go out there and throw interceptions, It's not like we look to go and turn the ball over or, fail on a certain play. So, yeah.
So I guess my question really is, though, your reaction that is crazy, is you stand by that, then I take it?
What? Well, yeah, I just answered that. I just said I'm not looking to go out there and throw interceptions. We're looking to go out there and complete passes, get the right plays. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else you want me to answer that.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm a bit confused, kind of like a Mike McDaniel answer, to be honest with you. Here's more from Tua Tagovailoa on not caring about what Miami fans think of him, or the media for that matter.
I think it's hard for me because I don't see any of what you guys are talking about. Like, I don't have any social media. I go home, I'm with my kids, with my family. Kids want to watch Disney Channel or Disney Plus. Like, gonna put whatever's on for them. Then I'll play like games with my wife while I'm there. So I wouldn't say I get to hear a lot of that or see a lot of that. But it doesn't matter anyways. Like, are they going to help us win the game? Are they going to help us lose the game? Like, that starts within. And so if we can look at each other and look at the things that we can correct and things that we can help each other on to move forward to hopefully get a win, this upcoming Sunday, I think that's what we should be focusing on.
All right, with very few exceptions, all players in all sports listen, especially this day and age with social media and everything else. And that's great that he goes home with his kids and watches Disney Channel. I commend him for that. And you can try to fake it that you're blocking it out. You can't block it out. And most of these guys who say they don't listen, they don't read what's left of newspapers, they don't listen to shows like this, whether it be digital or terrestrial radio, what's ever left of that, then they're lying. And I've talked to enough ex-players in my life in all sports, and yeah, off the record, on the record, they'll say no, but we don't listen, we don't look. But then, especially in the NFL, how many times do people say they don't listen, they don't listen, they don't listen, and then you see bulletin board material in every sport, all over the place. You know why? Because they listened. All right, here's more from Tua. Processing.
Yeah, that'll be tough, but this isn't an instance where this is the first time it's happened for us, where a new guy gets put in, and we got to trust that he knows what he's doing, or he knows what he has to do in a certain protection or run game scheme. So I trust the guys that are going to be in there. They had some reps throughout training camp while I was in there, so I got the utmost confidence in those guys.
All right, more from Tua Tagovailoa. Here you go.
Yeah, no, I thought that was the cool thing is that was their process going into week one. Win, lose, like you got to see a lot of the same guys, back in the film room, back in the meeting rooms. And, I thought that was a cool thing.
All right. More from Tua. Talks about Mike Vrabel.
Vrabel has we've played against them and we never beat, their team. So coming into this week, we know what's at stake. I mean, he got his guys coached up really well, and that's an opportunity for us this Sunday.
Yeah, he's talking about when Coach Vrabel was with Tennessee, did not fare well against him on several occasions. Here's him discussing Tyreek Hill. Then we'll move on to Mike McDaniel.
A lot of it when Reek kind of came to me was like, hey, like we need to get something going. And then he went back down the line, like from where he was with the running backs and then all those guys, and was just telling them to protect this dude. Like we need to make something happen. Things like that. That, I mean, wasn't nothing too crazy.
If you missed it, it was Tyreek Hill. That's exactly. I'm not exaggerating. Okay, let's get to more from head coach Mike McDaniel, and more on about him. Him showing some emotion out there.
And so when you don't display those on Sunday, it's frustrating. But I tried to figure out why and communicate with that directly. Then on top of that, you let people know that no one gives anything about any of your problems. No one cares if somebody is like, no one cares if you have a sack or you give up a pressure and a receiver doesn't execute a route, or the quarterback doesn't hit the right read, or the play caller made the wrong call. It doesn't matter. What you have to do is control the controllables. We need individuals to play as one, and that's the focus. We're not playing tennis, we're playing football. So we have to execute consistent techniques and fundamentals so that we can so that guys who are in a position to make a play can make a play based upon their teammates' execution. So all of that being said, it's a direct communications kind of what I rely on, and we are trying to work on the things that we failed on because there's only one way to go from that output, and that's what we're focused on today about.
Okay. What did we learn there? It's football, not tennis, but I don't know if what you guys did last week was football, playing you insulted tennis players, for that matter. I'm glad we did. Glad we got that straight. It's football. It's football and not tennis. Thank God for that. Thank God for that. Here's more from Coach Mike McDaniel.
I think it's meaningful to play against those jerseys, but at the same time, I think he's focused on us and less about that individual grudge match. I think he did a pretty good job. I was very happy with his starting point. We have high expectations for that room, and I have high expectations for him, and he has of himself. However, I've been very proud on how he's firmly one of the guys, and plays. He puts his effort on tape. He had a couple plays that he really played to the end of the whistle. One particularly on the first possession that kept him from continuing the drive. And so we're expecting and hoping for more of those things.
All right. There is more from Mike McDaniel. Just want to make sure I set this up correctly. Let's see. Let's go to. Okay. Here's more from Mike. Mike McDaniel on Matthew Judon, and not sensing that you just heard that. Not sensing that it's a revenge game. And how about the response to Tyreek Hill situation?
Mike, regarding Tyreek, his estranged wife made some abuse allegations. Are you aware of that? Are players aware of it? Do you think it could potentially be a distraction to the team?
I'm aware of it. The organization is. We've been in communication with the NFL, and we're going to let the process play out. As far as our team's focus, it is 100% on the Patriots, and that's what it should be, a division opponent, and on the heels of a undesirable outing, we're firmly there.
Okay. Undesirable outing. Is there a chance Tyreek Hill could get suspended for this game? I never rule anything out with the NFL. And a lot of times, crap comes down at the last second. I would not rule anything out. From a Patriots standpoint, I hope he doesn't play. But on the other hand, I want the Patriots to go up against Miami at their healthiest and at least on the field, because I don't want to hear any excuses from anybody. But it would not surprise me if the NFL suspends him before this game. Wouldn't shock me if they come up with some sort of evidence that confirmed the allegations from his ex that there were 8 charges against him alleging domestic abuse. All right, finally, here is Mike McDaniel on what's wrong with Tua.
I don't think anything's broken, but in terms of the determination on how exactly long it will be, we're not there yet, which is why I can't rule out this week. But I'm again anticipating Larry's going to start, but I'll adjust.
Yeah, that was my bad. That was not about Tua. It was about offensive line. But let me see. Let me see if we can fit this one in. Okay, here we go.
Xavier Howard said, once we take away Tua's first read, I feel like it's panic mode after that. What did you see in the area of going through progressions?
I think I saw, quarterback play that was less than to be desired, which Tua absolutely knows. But that was, he's the captain of the franchise quarterback. And everybody kind of fell victim to something similar. I also know that he's very, very much like most quarterbacks, to be honest, where you're putting a lot of work into something, and your first time doing it for a collective 4 quarters in months, you're not at your best. My biggest thing is I don't want to make the same mistakes twice. I don't want to have things happen for no reason or in vain. You make them purposeful by improving upon the things that you failed at, and then making sure that your teammates do the same. So he's comfortable with that. In terms of it, we need to be better collectively. He and everybody else needs to be better for us to get done what we want to get done.
Well, I saw a video yesterday of them working out to Tupac, and that's always been a big thing with Mike McDaniel. Forget the game plan. We got to make sure we have the right music out there so these guys can have a good time while we're at practice. In the words of Coach Norman Dale from Hoosiers, my practices aren't designed for your enjoyment. As Ollie said, that ain't no fun. All right, speaking of fun, here's Stephon Diggs, and knows Patriots offense needs to step it up, starting with him.
I'm looking forward to the challenge as always, but we just got to own it on the details. It's more about us rather than everybody else. Just as far as we got to do everything in our power. The details, route depth, getting open, catch the ball, the same shit that we get paid to do. So that's more of the focus. I'm looking forward to the challenge.
All right, there's Stephon Diggs, and hopefully he will run some deep routes and run past 10 yards before cutting. They need him to spread the field, and everybody else. Booty had a great game, but Williams has got to step it up. I know there's the receiving core has got to step it up, and I hope we see Chisholm III in this game because he's a little spark plug. He was inactive on Sunday. I don't understand it. I'd rather have him out there, rest Ramondre Stevenson, or rest somebody else that's not going to play to get him on the roster for the game. But I want to see Chisholm out there. He's a disruptor, and he's hard to tackle, and he plays with a ton of energy, which that team was lacking for big chunks of that game, meaning the Patriots against the Raiders on Sunday. All right, quick break. When we get back, we'll look around the NFL, get ready for some upcoming games, including tonight with Washington at Green Bay. A lot of people are saying this could be a preview of the NFC Championship. Green Bay only favored by 3 at home. Not even a hook, but 3. Totals 3 and 48.5. We'll get into that game and some other sound around the NFL. And also we'll hear from Alex Golesh, the head coach of the University of South Florida Bulls. We'll hear from him. Had a nice chat yesterday on Sirius XM College Football Radio. We're going to hear from Mario Cristobal as well on USF. An MLB rundown. Hopefully we'll get to that as well and a whole lot more. Great guests lined up for you today. As I said, Trevor Harris at 8:05 from WQAM. At 8:30, Bill Burt from the Eagle Tribune. 9 a.m., Steve Buckley from The Athletic. And celebrity chef Derek Fox at 9:30 talking food and football. All part of the Pete Sheppard Show here. And I do want to tell you, too, that Phil Castanetti Sports World in Saugus, Mass. is New England's place to buy or sell the finest in sports memorabilia. For over 35 years, Sports World has offered the finest in sports collectibles. It just had an unbelievable event with Will Campbell at the Kowloon last Tuesday. Went really well. So get on down to Phil Castanetti Sports World in Saugus at 184 Broadway. Call 781-233-7222 for more information. That's 781-233-7222 for more information. Sports World in Saugus, be there. And you come back with us. More NFL and college football news, MLB rundown as well. Part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on a Thursday on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them, sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So, wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been shattered in 1,000 pieces, just by giving her a bear hug. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family. If it's dysfunctional.
We need to have less of those with absolute certainty. I think one of the top indicators of success or failure in this league is turnover differential. And if you're -3, you're probably not going to win. And why do we do this? We do it to win, not anything else. So, I think there's a lot of things that go into that. I think, it was a unique circumstance this past game, which every game is unique, but this one in particular, where, I think part of that is absolutely on him. Part of it is on his eligibles, and part of it is on the play caller and how even you are with run and pass. So obviously I couldn't do the last one this past game, and as the situation was, I also could have on the plays he threw an interception, I could have called a run play that play too. We all have to be accountable and aggressively so if we want things.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah, I could have called a run play and he wouldn't have thrown an interception. Yeah, and it doesn't resonate with me. I don't get it. I swear to God, I need some kind of a Mike McDaniel closed caption. MMCC, Mike McDaniel closed caption. Is there a button on my remote for that? Is there an MMCC button? Because I need it. I don't get it. I just don't. And you know, I can't imagine. Like Pete Carroll went through this in New England. He wasn't quite as wishy-washy Charlie Brown. This is before he became, a really good head coach. We went to college and then back with Seattle. But he was Charlie Brown back in the day, wishy-washy. But he was wishy-washy with the Patriots in a little bit different of a way. And at least they beat the Dolphins in a playoff game. At least they got them to the playoffs. Lost a horrible 7-6 game in the semis to Pittsburgh on the road. And who knows if he had won that game and they would play Denver, with a host of Denver in the AFC Championship game back then in the late 90s. And who knows what would have happened if he had done that. But he didn't. But he had a lot of wishy-washiness too. Pete Carroll did when he was first coaching the Patriots and got called out on it. I can't imagine Mike McDaniel with these type of explanations and the way you need MMCC, closed caption, Mike McDaniel, closed caption. I can't imagine him in New England, in New York, in Philadelphia, maybe even in Dallas. I can't imagine how he would not get grilled and just get away with this nonsense, this pedantic blathering. And I don't get it. Maybe somebody else does. I don't understand. And this is professional with me. It's not personal because I don't know the man. I'm sure he's a nice fella. I'm sure he's probably a good coordinator. That guy, as a head, he will. I can honestly say this. I should never say never, but I would be shocked if he's ever a head coach again. He'll be a coordinator, some kind of an advisor, consultant, or something like that, maybe. But you cannot stick this guy in front of a microphone, and you don't. There's nothing there. There's nothing there with Mike McDaniel. Nothing. It's just. I just hear I hear Charlie Brown. All right, tonight's game, Green Bay and Washington. Green Bay hosting at Lambeau Field. You know what else I got to play at some point today? There is an anniversary. No, I'm not talking about, obviously I brought it up, 9/11, but it was also on this day, many, many years ago, one of the most famous plays in the NFL took place, which I will find for you because it's actually worth playing. I'll do it before the top of the hour. So if you don't have a lot of video today, I'll play you one of the great plays in NFL history that forced a rule change back in the day between the Raiders and the Chargers. That's coming up. All right, here's Rashawn Gary on Sirius XM NFL Radio discussing the trade to bring Micah Parsons to Green Bay. You'll see him in action tonight against Washington Commanders.
Talk about, at least from the defensive standpoint, what was that like when you found out about the trade and how everything went into the preparation for this game?
Yeah, of course with the trade, everybody was down for a minute. Sad just understanding, the position that Kenny had on our team, being a great leader, on and off the field, leading film studies, things like that. But, once you, understand the business of things and, understand, the brighter picture, it became, for me at least bittersweet. We traded a hell of a player to, get a hell of a player, and then have, first week Micah in town, love his confidence, and he just, flows that throughout the whole entire team. But, it's been bittersweet, but, it's going to be it's going to be good for us because the defensive line, how the defense is flying, man, at least week one has been great. So we just got to keep on doing it.
I was going to say, is that one of those things like you went against him before, but now he's on your team? Is like, damn, I didn't know he was that good?
Man, to be honest, I'm a guy that studies rushers, so it's just crazy to see it in person and how he moves in person. But he's exactly what he is on tape, man. He's a dog, he's a beast, and me and him is going to be a problem off the edge this year.
All right, should be an interesting game tonight. 8:15 on Amazon tonight. Green Bay hosting the Washington Commanders. How about Chicago at Detroit on Sunday? Here's Chicago head coach Ben Johnson says Dan Campbell had an interesting way of expressing himself to him.
We have fond memories of back when I was just a young snot-nosed computer punk, as he likes to call it, in Miami. And
your young whippersnapper with your Rubik's Cubes and your Etch-a-Sketches, unbelievable. Ryan Fitzpatrick, also on Fitz and Wit podcast, talked about Andrew Whitworth think that the Lions losing Ben Johnson is going to end up being a big deal.
Here was my thing with the Lions. I'm not worried because of
their quarterback, steady guy. I'm not worried because all the success they had last year. But on offense, it did feel a little different. Maybe losing Ben Johnson is going to be a huge deal. Maybe you can talk me off the ledge a little bit because they still have all the stars and the pieces and the firepower on the outside, which as a quarterback, that's all I care about.
Just remember, too, Fitz, you're changing coordinators, and you've also had some changes there in the interior part of this line. And let's not forget the identity of how everything was built with Ben Johnson. And that was, we are going to run the football at you. We're going to get in different personnels. We're going to play with heavy linemen. We're going to do everything we can. Play actions are going to come off of all this stuff. Like, we are going to, force our physical will on you throughout the football game, and you're going to play a physical game against us, and then we're going to build a lot of stuff off of it. And that's the style of who they are. In this game, they had zero opportunity to get the run game going. The Packers absolutely eliminated them in a run game, in any kind of run game, any explosive plays, any of that stuff. And you look under the time that Dan Campbell's been the head coach, this was their poorest performance from that standpoint. Yeah. So to me, we're going to say it's the play caller, it's going to say this, but it comes down to they're a little different.
All righty. All right, let's move on to, oh, by the way, Giants are at Dallas this week. Former first-round draft pick Jadeveon Clowney visited Dallas. Don't be surprised if he doesn't come out of retirement and sign with them. Rams at Tennessee. Former U stud Cam Ward says the Titans struggled to find a rhythm against Denver. This is from A to Z Sports in Nashville.
I would say getting the ball out, winning top of the routes, and then also just finding a rhythm. I just think the whole game we never found a rhythm. Really needed one play of offense to get that, but we didn't do it enough. And so, it all comes down to, myself and the receivers. We got to make plays in the passing game. I think we had a great job. We did a great job running the ball on Sunday. TP did his thing. But we just got to continue to play complementary football to the defense.
All right. Yes, absolutely. It was not. He took a couple of bad sacks, but overall he had drops all over the place, and the offensive line was terrible. They got to do better. Here's more from Cam saying he will never be angry at a receiver for dropping a ball. I will.
We communicate about drops, about incomplete balls, everything. I'm not gonna never get on them guys for dropping the ball. I'm gonna throw a pick at some point in the season, so bad plays won't happen. The biggest thing is that we got to get back to the hole. We got to always have a next play mentality. So I'm not really too worried about that. The boys gonna catch the ball, so I don't need none of that crazy stuff. I know what type of receivers I got. They know who they are in this locker room, so we gonna turn things around.
All right, more NFL news. Brock Purdy listed as a long shot to play. Looks like Mac Jones is going to get the start this week for the 49ers as they take on the Saints in New Orleans. Buffalo is at the Jets. Aaron Glenn explains the Jets' release of Xavier Gibson.
We released Xavier Gibson, and we will be bringing in some other guys. We already brought one guy in, Isaiah Williams, who I know. He was with us in Detroit. I think 23 or 24. He was with us. And then we're going to look at some guys that's in-house. And I want to be known that decisions that's made are not rash decisions, and they're never based off of one incident. So, and I will keep it at that. Xavier's a really good player, and he's going to play in this league. But I felt there was time for us to move on in another direction. So I'll leave it at that.
Justin Fields, Jets quarterback, talks about reconnecting with his college teammate Garrett Wilson for a touchdown.
Garrett was talking about it felt like 2019, that touchdown pass from you to him. How was that connection? Being reconnected, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. Of course, it's always good when you get an in-game touchdown with an old teammate like that. But, just like he said, it felt like old times for sure.
All right. Felt like old times. That's great. But you lost to Pittsburgh. Speaking of the Steelers, Seattle is at Pittsburgh this week, and Aaron Rodgers on 93.7 The Fan talked about the Steelers fans.
The thing I can say that I do know about Steelers fans is in the fourth quarter, in crunch time, when they had the ball at MetLife, it was loud. And that was our fans.
Wonderful. Yes, we'll see what happens this week when Flaky Boy goes at it and hosting for him the Pittsburgh Steelers. Host the Seattle Seahawks. Cleveland is at Baltimore. The Ravens coming off a very tough 1-point loss in Buffalo. on Sunday night. John Harbaugh talks about Joe Flacco, who'll be starting for him when they host starting for Cleveland when the Browns visit Baltimore on Sunday.
In terms of looking back, what an amazing run, and what a era, for the Ravens at the Joe Flacco era. I think, he was in there, and the early part of his career was with Ray and Ed and those guys, and the later part of his career with another set of guys, and he just he's iconic, I think, in Baltimore football history, and so respect that and admire that, and still keep in touch with him, except not this week. And this week, it's not about that for us as a football team. It's about us getting prepared for a good quarterback that knows how to play the game, that's capable of making plays against you, and we're going to have to be at our very best to defend against Joe and the whole offense.
And speaking of Joe, here's Monsieur Flacco ready for his return to Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I got to play him a couple years ago, but going back to Baltimore is definitely a little bit different story. It is somewhat surprising, honestly, because I've been gone for a decent amount of time now. So, the fact that I haven't had a chance to go back is a little surprising.
All right, we'll have more NFL preview sound coming up tomorrow. A couple things I want to get in. College football-wise, a lot of good matchups this week. Number 6, Georgia at number 15, Tennessee. That's going to be interesting. South Florida at Miami. The CW loving this because it's going to be the highest-rated game they've ever had on that network. The Bulls ranked 18th, Miami 5. Alex Golish, got to love this guy on the leadership he's seeing from his seniors. This is from SiriusXM College Sports Radio.
I think you truly gain confidence through your prep. You gain confidence through watching the guys work. We got a really cool group of seniors. And I know that sounds like cliche coach talk, but we got 33 of them guys. And there's a bunch of them that have been through a similar environment, a similar situation, and we just haven't been able to go finish it. And I've always thought, man, that there's a point in your program, and probably because I've been through this building before, where you end up being ready for that moment. Up until this point, we hadn't been ready to go finish that. We just haven't, and could pinpoint a bunch of different reasons. Heck, you could say bad coaching. I don't know, but the way our guys have worked and prepared and have been so locked in, there's a level of focus it takes to go win when there's two really good football teams. There's a level of detail. There's a level of certainly physicality and toughness and all that, but just a level of focus as you go through a week that it truly takes. And the way our guys are right now, it's very senior led. It's very player driven. It's everything you hope to have as you build a program. Right now, that's how our guys are preparing, and it's a credit to really the kids that have bought in and have chosen to be process driven and can, for the first time in our program, that since I've been here, it's truly led from within the locker room.
Yeah, and he's an excellent coach, no question about it. Going up against Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes coming up on Saturday at 4:15, highest-ranked opponent that the Bulls have ever played. Remember, those of you who may be new to the college football game, and especially USF football, they were actually ranked number 2 in the country back in 2007. Number 2 in the country. All right. I promised you a little snippet. 1978, 9/11, 1978. One of the craziest football plays happened between the Raiders and the Chargers. The legendary Bill King with the call of the Holy Roller. If you've never heard this is one of the great calls in NFL history, especially on this is just outstanding and crazy game for what we're talking about 47 years ago. 1978, I was 11 years old. I remember the highlights of this game. Immediately, absolutely hysterical. I can't believe that was some 47 years ago. Here's how it sounded.
The crowd takes up a chant of defense. Robisky and Banaszak are the backs. Slot right, Branch inside. Bradshaw, Stabler back. Here comes the rush. He sidesteps. Can he throw? He can't. The ball flipped forward is loose. A wild scramble. 2 seconds on the clock. Casper grabbing the ball. It is ruled a fumble. Casper has recovered in the end zone. The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here. He does. There's nothing real in the world anymore. The Raiders won the football game. The Chargers are standing, looking at each other. They don't believe it. Nobody believes it. I don't know if the Raiders believe it. It's not real. 52,000 people minus a few lonely Raider fans are stunned. A man would be a fool to ever try and write a drama and make you believe it. This one will be relived forever.
It's one of the great calls in NFL history. Absolutely outstanding. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you cannot advance a fumble on those type of plays anymore. That's a 47-year-old rule, Joe. They changed it to next year because of that. Madden is on the field. Get your big butt out of here. And I love the little pause. He does. Of course, the legendary John Madden. Absolutely hysterical. Unbelievable. All right. We'll hang on and wait for Trevor Harris to come on. Let's continue more with some college football news. Georgia at Tennessee, as I said, this is a big one. And on Sirius XM SEC Radio, the Chris Doering and Alyssa Lang, two of my faves, discuss if Tennessee can beat Georgia for the first time in 9 years.
Tennessee is the ultimate bully. Like, they beat up on all the teams that they're better than, but when they actually play somebody that's as good or better, they don't quite match. PB is the same way. Like, if he's going to try to bully you until you stand up and slap him in the face, he's going to keep pushing. And then after that, he'll sit back and you'll be able to get him tamed.
So does Tennessee stand up this week, or do they get slapped in the face? Because this feels like it could be sneaky the year. First time since, 2016 it would be that Tennessee beats Georgia?
Tennessee under Josh Heupel have played 12 opponents from the Group of Five and FCS.
Okay.
They are 12-0, all right? They've outscored opponents by an average of, they've outscored opponents 684 to 107. It's a 48-point average margin of victory, and I think they're averaging scoring 53 points. I don't have the math. I think it's 53 points a game against those opponents. When they play against the big three, their biggest rivals that will define their season, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, they are 4-8 against those teams. They've been outscored 406 to 268, which is an average of a negative 11.5 points margin per game. And they're only scoring, I think, like 22 points a game. So they flex on the teams that they're better than. But when it comes to competition that's equal or more physical or typically better than, they really struggle.
We talk about signature wins all the time, right? We thought that Tennessee-Oklahoma game last year, I think in Norman, was going to be a lot more exciting than it actually was. Not a ton of fireworks, but that was sort of looked at as, could this be a Josh Heupel signature win going back to OU and beating up on his old team? Well, they got the win, but it wasn't exactly this dominating performance from a scoreboard standpoint. This would be one of those signature wins.
Yes, indeed, Alyssa, it absolutely would. The Florida Gators have maybe playing for Billy Napier's job. They go into a very hostile environment. There's probably no louder environment. It was incredibly loud at the Rock last week when Miami hosted Notre Dame. But Death Valley, even that, it's just different. And an LSU game at night. And they, like the Patriots, should be smelling blood in the water. And Brian Kelly's troops are off to a very good start. Had that great win at Clemson, shutting out the Tigers in the second half. 17-10 was the final. But Marty Smith on Sirius XM College Sports Radio, another one of my faves, on why Death Valley at night is unlike any other atmosphere in college sports.
There are some really hard places to play. Neyland Stadium is very hard to play. Jordan-Hare, really hard to play. But there's nowhere else like Death Valley, man. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, man, that voodoo stuff comes out. And when they start playing Colin Baton Rouge, and 100,000 people, it's a big old concrete structure, and that thing's literally swaying back and forth. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. And it is, to me, if I had one game left to see in my life, if I was on college football death row, and I got one meal left to eat, I would be eating it in Death Valley.
It's going to be something. The Florida Gators, man. It's probably not enough credit has been given to South Florida, the way the Bulls played and the way they went into the swamp, which is not an easy place to play. But this is, I think he's playing for his job here. I really do. He's only 20-20. He's got a losing record in the SEC since he came here. And when you think that Dan Mullen had a 31-9 record for the Gators before they shipped him off, which was absolutely ridiculous. Dumbest thing they ever did. When he came over from Mississippi State, he was the next best thing to sliced bread. Loved him. I think Dan Mullen's an excellent coach. If you haven't seen UNLV play, go watch them. They're 3-0 so far. As he's, for the first time in forever out there, he is totally turning that program around. They throw the ball all over the place. And it's going to be interesting to see Dan Mullen, but he must be smirking off to the side. 31-9, and you let this guy go, and then you bring in, Billy Napier, for all the goodwill he built up last year, especially winning, the last 4 down the stretch, beating LSU, beating Mississippi, winning their bowl game, and then people are calling it like the most, they didn't call last year's loss when I was there to Miami getting spanked. But that didn't bother most people too much. They really got blown out. But people are livid, absolutely livid that they lost to USF, who they think is one of the worst losses, teams that they should beat. Now, Miami cannot fall into that trap this week because they can't take anybody for granted. I've seen too many screw-ups over the last couple of years between Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Georgia Tech twice, Syracuse another time. I don't think that's going to be the case, man. I think the Bulls are going to struggle this week at Hard Rock. I do. I'm not saying they're going to lose by 30 or 40 or anything like that, but I do think that the Hurricanes are going to win a tough, hard-fought, double-digit win over a very good football team. Very good football team, but we'll see if it is a tough road. It's a tough road for USF. But how about the Gators? I mean, because after they play at Death Valley, then the week from Saturday, they come to Hard Rock to play Miami. They have an absolutely brutal, brutal schedule. So we'll see what happens with the Gators. But that is going to be must-watch. 7:30, it's going to be great because I'll have 4:15, I'll have Miami and USF going right into LSU, Florida. I cannot wait to watch that game at 7:30 on Saturday night on ABC. Some other big games. Also, Texas A&M at Notre Dame. By the way, I tried to get Catherine Tappan on. She is just so tied up. So I'm going to try her in a little bit. Let me see. Oh, hang on. Let's see. All right, waiting for Trevor Harris to come on from WQA. Let me see. I got a text here. Give me a moment. Oh, okay. I'll give you a moment. I'll give you 2 moments. And I'll already do the transition just like that. But he's not there yet. But he will be shortly. 8:07, so he's probably just getting up. Maybe he's just getting in. You never know with Trevor. He's a single man down by South Beach area. He's been producing and having to listen to these press conferences all week and then sending me some of the sound, which he does a great job at. But I want to get his perspective, not only about the hurricanes in South Florida, but he's the press conferences he's had to listen to and cut up between Tua Tagovailoa and Mario Cristobal and Mike McDaniel. All right, let's see. All right. Let's get some other college football sound here. Here's also from SiriusXM College Football Sports Radio. Here's head coach South Carolina, head coach Shane Beamer on what makes Williams-Brice Stadium different from anywhere else.
Just electric, a different feel than anywhere that I've ever been. Our fans, Roddy, are so passionate and so loyal. I mean, we had a 2.5 hour, well, first of all, last week, and this is no disrespect to South Carolina State, but we're playing South Carolina State last week, an FCS opponent, and the game was sold out. I think tickets on like StubHub or whatever were going for 4 times what face value was last week. It was the most requested number of student tickets for a football game in like the history of the football program. And then we come out, we have a 2.5 hour weather delay, and 99.9% of the fan bases in America, that fan base would not stay there for a 2.5 hour weather delay. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. And then we come out for pregame warmups after a 2 hour weather delay, and the place is packed. for pregame warmups. I mean, they've just been sitting in there. They're like, we ain't going anywhere. And it was 9:30 p.m. before we kicked off that game, and it was completely sold out. So,
all right, that's Shane Beamer, head coach of South Carolina. Yes, it is an awesome place to play. Great fan support at William Bryce Stadium. Very different than anywhere else. But the Gators are going to have as loud and crazy as that stadium is. Wait till Death Valley on Saturday night. All right, it is that time of the week, everybody.
Again, just a really good coaching staff, really good football team, just tons of athletes. They revamped the entire July portal. All 4 guys up front, our guys are given, and they're all tough, physical, active, to have a lot of experience. So, really good football team.
All right, Mario. That's Mario Cristobal on the defensive line of the USF Bulls. They're going to go at it on Saturday. Make way for his weekly visit. It is Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami, who had the privilege of listening to all these wonderful, entertaining press conferences. They weren't dull this week between Mario Cristobal, between Mike McDaniel, between Tua Tagovailoa. Doing a great job. Executive producer and occasional host over at WQAM. Doing a great job this week. Good morning, Trevor. How are you? Did you just roll in?
No, I had computer problems all the time anyways, so I am... Yeah, my internet's been trash. I have AT&T, so this thing wouldn't nothing will load. So I was like, you know what? Let me just put the hotspot on my phone, just connect the laptop. I'm gonna restart my Wi-Fi so I can be able to do my weekly media.
What's up with that? It's not weather related, is it? It's not.
No, it's just it was so bad yesterday. So I was like, let me just restart this thing anyways and see what happens. So
shouldn't happen to them. Don't they know who you are? Don't they have the URL address to your home? Know how important this is?
They have my banking info. Take whatever they need that payment info, anyways, of $90 a month, anyways. So,
so how is your week going so far? It's already Thursday. I think this week has gone by pretty fast. But must be. It must be. I don't know. Well, you're looking more forward to listening to and cutting up Mario Cristobal because that's kind of fun. But yesterday, and you text me right before it happens, because must listen press conferences between Tua and Mike McDaniel. So.
Oh yeah, I did Dolphins postgame on Sunday, and I got to do it again this Sunday as well. I'm hoping the Patriots win because I had a full line of phone calls, by the way, because everyone was so mad.
I saw
and
that.
now I'm
you sent me the picture, and I apologize because I couldn't tell if they were empty or what. Because I'm like, oh geez, nobody's calling, but they were full. I couldn't tell by the picture.
Yeah.
So what was how many let off with fire Mike McDaniel?
All of them. It was also fire the GM too. Also, it was like fire Mike McDaniel, fire Chris Greer.
Did you see the GoFundMe page?
Yes, I actually threw a little.
Tell our audience about what's going on. I'll leave you to the details because this kind of happened before around sports, but this is going to be interesting on Sunday.
So I this reminds me of the John Idzik era of New York Jet football. I always compare it to because that's when they started doing the planes and stuff. So the Dolphin fans are trying to get a plane ready to fly a banner, fire Greer, fire McDaniel. I love this, by the way, because this is true Northeast sports fandom at its fandom. I threw some money in this, by the way. I'm going to say this. I threw money in this because
but these are Florida fans doing. These are Miami fans. These aren't New England fans. Not going to spend money.
No. I had to throw $10 in this. Like, take my $10. You make my post game more entertaining anyway. So I threw $10 on that. I don't think anyone else has at the station because I don't like the Dolphins, honestly. I like my team, and I hope the Patriots crush them just for my entertainment.
Your team is the Eagles.
I'm an Eagles fan, so and the Dolphin fan ever since I've got down here has hucked to me. Anyways, it's like we don't like you. It's like you. I said that's like we've done more in 25 years than the Dolphins have, anyways. During the Marino era, I always say that, anyways. Yeah. And I'm just loving it. So I actually told Dolphin fan listen. If you want this done right, get a Northeast guy to throw you some money. So I threw $10 on. And it was like, now you have some recognition at least. So I really hope this does happen. Really,
before kickoff, right? Or maybe they should time it right at kickoff.
They should. The problem is if this was the old stadium, if they didn't do the renovations, they would do it perfectly because you'd be able to see it. But they had the roof over it. It's just not going to work out. So you have to do it during kickoff at least.
Yeah. If it was the old Orange Bowl, it would be clear as a bell. But this
time, old Orange Bowl or old Pro Player Stadium before they put the roof on, it'll be perfect anyways.
Yeah. Somebody said to me, "Why don't they close the roof?" I'm like, they can't. I'm like, they
It's
can't.
like Wembley Stadium almost. That's what I've compared New Hard Rock to. It looks like it's like a knockoff version of Wembley Stadium, or the Temu version of it, anyways. So that's what I always call it.
Let's start with the Hurricanes and the Bulls this week, and
Yes,
everybody.
I'm
is,
excited for this game. Actually,
I'm very excited, and I think it should be close to a sellout. It should be. I think USF is going to make the 90-minute drive, if that, down to Hard Rock, and
yeah,
I suggest getting there today, because if the traffic is anything like it was for the Notre Dame game, and the parking lots, for that game, for a 7:30 game, opened up at 2:30, so that means the parking lots for a 4:15 game are going to
4:30.
open up when 10:30.
Pregame starts at
11:30?
noon. I'm gonna say 11:30 or noon, maybe.
Or
I'm gonna say
11:15, 5 hours before.
yeah. I'm gonna say 5 hours before, unless it's maybe 4 hours. They do it at noon. That's what I know. That's what the Dolphins do because they're soft, anyways.
But they opened
so.
up the Notre Dame game at 2:30.
Wow.
And it was ridiculous. I got there at 2:34, and it took me until 3:15 to actually get in. And then I had to wait around for my friends to get in. And the traffic was unbelievable. Maybe they did it because it was Notre Dame an hour more so than they did. But so I'm expecting.
I expect more for the Gator game next week, actually.
Oh, that's it. We haven't determined yet. It's either going to be at 7:00 on ESPN or 7:30 on ABC. Now, my guess is, depending on what happens for the Gators this week at LSU, and they're playing at 7:30 Saturday night in Death Valley, and we don't know if Billy Napier is going to have a job after that if they get humiliated. We don't know.
Who's going to set up the LinkedIn first anyways with Open Network first? Billy Napier or Mike McDaniel? Let's be honest here on that one next
We
week
could both go
anyways.
on the same day. But dude, I was listening to is it Frank Fangle up at 1010 Jacksonville and 1010 XL, and he came up. He doesn't throw shit against the wall. Did you hear what he said about the Gators?
I listened to bits and pieces of it until my internet just took a crap on me. So play that for me.
He is kind of not floating it, but seemed. I think he's got something, has some information that John Gruden could be in line to be the next head coach of the Gators. How about that?
My Lord.
Yep.
Because that's what everyone wants him down here for the Dolphin head coach anyway.
Apparently, I'm going to find the cut and let you hear it because it's worth.
Okay, I want to listen to this because I
played it yesterday, and it's definitely worth hearing. It's definitely worth. I got it. And he tells you why that the Dolphins may not be in play as well, according to Frank Prangle, a talk show host at 1010 XL 92.5 FM as well, up in Jacksonville.
Listen to me when I tell you this. If Billy Napier gets fired, and I think he's going to, John Gruden will be in play for that job.
Wow.
Doesn't mean he'll get it, but listen to me again. I think and I never take, you know me, I don't go there. How many times you see me roll my eyes when someone goes somewhere like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think John Gruden has had conversations in the past with people who care about Florida's interests. I'm not going to tell you he's talked to Scott Strickler or the president. I don't know that. If he has, I don't know that he has. John Gruden desperately wants back in. And he desperately wants a college job. That's widely known. He doesn't want an NFL job. He wants a head college job. He has made that known on his Barstool stuff. That's not a secret. He's a very good football coach. He wants back in. He's stayed in with, he's still in Tampa. He meets with coaches all the time. I can give you a list of guys he meets with. And it's time for Florida to do something spectacular. I think John Gruden will be in play to be the next head coach at the University of Florida if Billy Napier is fired. And I feel strongly about that. Might not get it. They may never come together. I may be wrong, and Scott Strickland may have no interest in it. But I believe there will be a conversation.
I mean, that is, again, he does not throw shit against the wall. So it certainly sounds like he's got a bit of information there that the Gators at least would be very, very interested. I find it interesting, though, about the only part I still find a little hard to believe is that he would not have interest in an NFL job. And maybe Frank is absolutely dead on balls accurate. But if the Dolphins, and I brought this up yesterday, if the Dolphins lose to the Patriots on Sunday, and I believe they will, I think McDaniel's getting fired. And I'm floating this theory as well. I'm wondering Stephen Ross, because the Gators and the Dolphins kind of in the same boat here. They got to do something.
Yeah.
They got to make an impact. And I'm wondering if Stephen Ross goes after Bill Belichick like now, if something happens, and goes and gets him, knowing full well the last game of the season is the Miami Dolphins at the Patriots. Can you imagine the drama if that ever took place? Now, would Bill leave? I don't know if Bill would leave. However, Jordan Hudson would.
I heard talks.
Jordan Hudson would.
I heard for sure. I've heard talks about that during the summertime. It's like people are throwing this out of like McDaniel gets fired. Who do you think they're going to bring? People saying Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick, Bill Belichick. Like, you know what? Rip the Band-Aid off and just do it anyways. Because I don't like the head coach is like, you went to the playoffs for his first 2 years, lose in dramatic fashion by 1 point, and you get blown out by Kansas City the next year. You need to do something. Last year was a disaster. This year already looks like a disaster. They didn't make it to halftime at least. Tyreek Hill's flipping out. Tua's not doing his things. He's flipping out at reporters like Omar Kelly and stuff. So, you know what? Just bring him in. I know some people are going to hate it because he's going to go after Shula's record. Tough, you know what, honestly. Let's be adults here. Do you want a Super Bowl? I think what's-his-face wants a Super Bowl desperately. Good old Stephen Ross. But I think if he wants to do it, rip the Band-Aid off, just get rid of everybody. Bring in Bill Belichick. You know what? Bring in Mike Lombardi, too. I know he wants a job, too, in the NFL as well. So
yeah, and I was saying earlier, I think it's going to – I would love it from a sports talk show host standpoint.
Yeah.
The drama would be unbelievable. And, look, basically, Belichick is doing whatever she tells him to do.
Yeah.
So if he becomes an opportunity for him to get back in the NFL and him knowing this may be his last shot, since nobody else wanted him, apparently, because he's burned so many bridges, according to multiple reports, nobody wanted him.
Because I thought he was going to get the Atlanta job at least, because he would have been perfect up in that division.
I thought it was all but done. But done.
But Rich McKay's a dummy anyways.
But something was going on behind the scenes, and maybe it was about Jordan Hudson. Maybe they just didn't want to deal with that crap. You know, we saw what happened earlier this year in North Carolina. So I think it's going to be fascinating, and it wouldn't cost North Carolina. What is it, $1 million buyout if he?
Yeah.
I don't know. And certainly you can't stop Miami from talking to him right now. It's not any violation.
No.
It's not tampering. But I can only imagine, and I'm sure half the people in North Carolina want him out anyway. But I can only imagine. You know, I think Dolphin fans would probably react in a positive way.
They would be first very mad because he kicked their ass for 20 years, 20 plus, 25 years.
There were some bad games down there, but yeah, for the most part,
but
he did. Yeah.
Most of the Dolphin fans hate his guts because of the cheating, this, and this. And I go by like, dude, one of the best head coaches in my generation. Stop it. And they said, like, what do you know about football? Like, just stop for real. And you Dolphin fans would take any minute to have win a playoff game first time since 25 years.
Yeah.
And 2, be relevant in the right way, not be relevant in like, oh, we're a suckbag franchise. We get in trouble for bullying by Richie Incognito and other people, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, I think I look at it's just amazing the coaches on the hot seat between the Florida Gators and the Miami Dolphins. And I go back.
Yeah.
You know what Dan Mullen's record was, and now Napier's 20-20, and he's got an under 500, well under 500.
I like Dan Mullen too. That was a funny thing.
He's 3-0 at UNLV. Do you know what his record was? Now Napier 20-20 after 40 games. Do you know what Dan Mullen's record was after 40 games with the Gators?
Shoot.
31-9.
I would think that's a winning franchise head coach. At least.
Let him go 31 and the dumbest thing they've ever done. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable.
Took him to 2 SEC title games too.
I know, because he made some offhand comment about recruiting and they didn't take him seriously. I don't know what it was, but it was the dumbest thing the Gators have done in a long, long time. And they
Plus they beat Georgia all the time too. When Mullen was there, they beat Georgia with Kyle Trask too. Yeah. Also, who I thought was an NFL quarterback, not in this world, anyways. But
no, it's unbelievable.
I would take him any day of the week. And plus, he's at UNLV. I totally forgot he was at UNLV. Also,
he's 3-0 there too. He's 3-0.
These ADs don't know football. It was just we need to get like I wouldn't be shocked since Andrew Luck is looking for a head coach. I mean, we all know Frank Wright's there. Anyways, I wouldn't be shocked if like Dan Mullen gets a phone call.
But it's the president too. Strickland just got an extension as well. There was not. I mean, this just the AD. This just a lot going on with the Gators.
Yeah.
It's a premier coaching destination. There's no question about it. You fire a guy with 31-9 in 40 games. Are you fucking crazy? It's just like in college football.
That president AD need to go get their heads checked anyway. That we always said up north. Get your head checked. What do you want to? Why do you want to fire him? Because he doesn't like recruiting. Tough shit. Go learn to recruit.
He said some kind of offhand remark, and it got totally taken out of context. And I hate using that phrase because a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But in his case, I mean, are you kidding me? You've got a coach that can't go 500 in the conference. Or in a record, or under 500 in the SEC, and all the goodwill he built up last year, winning the last 4 games, beating LSU, winning Mississippi, winning the bowl game. That's all out the window.
Yeah,
it sounds like we're shitting
not
on
getting
USF.
killed by Georgia too.
Yeah, it sounds like we're pissing on USF, and we're not at all because they deserve to be ranked, and they deserve. But you can't be an 18-point favorite and not even score 18 points if you're Florida. They only scored 6. They didn't even score as many as they were favored by. And you lose to USF at home 18-16. So
it's like Penn State trying to beat FIU, but they didn't cover, you know?
Yeah. Which is true.
Yes. James Franklin should be on the hot seat because they didn't cover versus FIU. Make that a headline next.
Well, Miami didn't cover against Bethune-Cookman either, but it was the dominating performance, except for the shitty call. The linebacker getting thrown out was
so long.
Yeah, I know.
It was so long. I was just like, oh. I'm at that point now. Is like, I know we have to play these schools. We have to play the small schools and stuff. But I'm at that point like, can we just send them a check?
Yeah,
and then we can play like the Big 12 because that's what I want anyways in my life.
What do you got coming up the rest of the week? What's your schedule like?
Upper Bowl podcast is out. Myself, Kevin, and Duncan Dad talk. We have Kevin Rogers from Locked On Bets. We talk used to do radio in Kansas City. This week I got to do Canes game Saturday night. I got to do Westwood one tonight for Washington and Green Bay. Also do some work for the Canes stuff, and I think other than that we're good. I got to do Dolphin post game Sunday. So YouTube.com for under QAM. We'll take your calls if they get blown out by the Patriots, which I'm hoping for anyways. So go Pack, by the way.
All right, buddy. We'll talk during the weekend, I'm sure, and we'll talk next week. Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Trev. Right. Appreciate you.
No problem.
Take care. Trevor Harris from WQAM in Miami joining us here on the Pete Sheppard Show. Quick break here. Bill Burt's going to join us from the Eagle Tribune shortly. Steve Buckley at 9 o'clock from The Athletic. And then celebrity chef Derek Fox will join me at 9:30. We talk food and football, all part of the Pete Sheppard Show here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Woohoo! Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie. So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a
Don't spaz out because your team lost. Let Pete do it for you. Now, back to the Pete Sheppard Show.
We're certainly going to have to make them earn it, and we're going to have to find ways to get the drive stopped, right? You're going to have to do what Colts did, which was turn it over, or you're going to have to make a play along the way.
All right, Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel going to make a play along the way. Hopefully they'll make a few. Blood is in the water. They should smell it. The Patriots should smell it all the way up in Foxborough. The Miami Dolphins stink. They're vulnerable. And the Patriots need to come down here and put an end to the Mike McDaniel era. And with that, we say good morning to Eagle Tribune. Great. Bill Burt joining us this morning here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. Good morning, Bill. Thanks for taking a few. How are you?
Hey, Pete. Very well, thanks. Good start to the day. Beautiful day here in Boston. I wish I was outside to show you, but I'm in North Andover, and it looks a little like yours. It's a little chillier, but yeah, we got a really nice fall day here.
I would welcome a little chilly right now. It's been there is a hint of autumn in the air down here. As we that meaning that's not going to be 95, it'll be like 88, which is always a good thing. But great weather for the Red Sox Yankees series coming up this weekend, which we will get to. Maybe the Red Sox should put on Detroit Tiger uniforms so they can win by double digits. But they've handled the Yankees this year. So we'll get to that. Are you coming down for the game by chance?
No, I'm not coming to this game. I am. I'm going to travel probably about 4 or 5 of the games. This was not one of them. Very busy around here. I am going to Fenway this weekend for the Red Sox Yankees. So we got a lot going on. Colleges, Merrimack, really good, pretty good football team. They're playing.
Did you see that the kid from Merrimack? Was it last week that made a Sports Center top 10 highlight?
No, what was it on the?
I can't remember. It might have been against them. I don't know, but somebody made. But people forget they're they made it. They made a Sports Center top 10 something. I can't remember.
So they did make it. They gave up. They took the lead at the great game. Took the lead against Kent State, which is obviously Julian Edelman's team,
Yes.
and they returned right after that. The first play returned to kick 102 yards. And that kid got like the 8th best play of the day. Yeah, I did see that.
Before the other thing that was funny this week in college football, or last week, took Syracuse a little ways to come and then beat UConn in overtime. UConn is not exactly a great team by any stretch of imagination. They're not UMass, but still. And then the coach, whose name has escaped me right now, he pulls a Herb Brooks. And they start doing sprints.
Right.
You don't want to work during the game, we'll work after. And he has the Orangemen doing sprints.
I like that, to be honest.
Did you see that?
They're full uniform, and it was a good 20 minutes, half hour after the game where they did it. So good for him.
I'm laughing my ass off. I'm like, who does this except for Herb Brooks? You
That
know,
was
you don't
an
want to work
embarrassing
during the
win.
game, we'll work now.
Yep, you're right. You're right.
Anyway, I'm sure we know the problems that the Patriots had last week. I don't want to go over that again and again because it becomes crazy. They did more bad things, I thought, than good. I wasn't happy with the overall game plan, and the execution by Drake May's got to be better. I think they were all correctable things. I think they can but just to smell blood in the water, I've been saying it all week, Billy. They got to come down here, and they got to win this game. This team, the Miami Dolphins, stink. I told you they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league. They were the worst team in the NFL by far on Sunday, by far. And the Patriots have got to take advantage of it. Don't let that bastard Tua Tagovailoa breathe. Go after him. Go after him. He can't handle anything after his first read. They got to get to him. They rushed 6 last week against Geno and had a very difficult time doing it. They got to find a way.
Pete, he's 7-0 against the Patriots lifetime. And Belichick couldn't stop that damn slant. Couldn't stop it, and neither could Gerard Mayo. So here, Pete, I'm going to take this game. I basically have thrown this season away. In terms of playoffs and worrying about winning 10 games. I've thrown it away, and I'm not saying it can't happen, but my focus is on strictly Drake May. And the one disappointing thing, I think what we're seeing is he's not playing quarterback the way he plays the game. Like if you saw, he looked like he had, handcuffs on, and he was very careful. That's not who he is. He makes plays. And I think it goes back to the preseason. He had a couple of bad interceptions, and worse, a couple of bad fumbles. I think it was more the fumbles. And I think Mike Vrabel has him scared, meaning you cannot make a mistake. I think you got to go the opposite way. I think you got to let him play, and then you rein him in when we figure out who he is. A lot of great quarterbacks, and let's forget Tom Brady. He was a freak of nature his second year. I don't want to compare anyone to him, but I look at more like a Peyton Manning, who led the league in interceptions his first year, and then basically learned how to be quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to throw 25 interceptions. That doesn't happen anymore. The game has changed. But I just want to see Drake May. I want them to take the reins off a little and let him play. Let him make a few mistakes. And then I'm worried about the wins, Pete. That's all.
Can I make an analogy? I'm going back to, it's a baseball analogy. I go back, as you know, I have no original thoughts, so we'll go back to movies. So go back to Bull Durham. And Crash Davis, a.k.a. Kevin Costner, to Eddie LaLouche, Tim Robbins' character.
Great role.
Don't think, just throw. And that's my advice to Drake May. And I've heard people talk about, he's trying, and you just brought up a great point, because it seemed he's trying to play the perfect game.
No.
Don't try to play the perfect game. Be Drake May.
And make mistakes. So I'm not listen. I forget. Rob Barbercraft every year. I want to make the playoffs. Shut up. Don't say anything about playoffs. Let's just if this kid develops, and the offensive line, that was another issue here. That's going to get better. But if he develops, the Patriots are going to make runs at conference championships or whatnot, and they still got to build a team. This is all about Drake May this year, and there are other areas. I I saw last week's game, and that was a dud. That was just a crappy game. I wouldn't, there was no entertainment value. There wasn't anything that happened on both sides of the ball. You could argue Geno Smith, who basically is a gunslinger. He out gunslinged the Patriots, and the Patriots. It was an even game, other than him making a few big plays on third down. I just want to see this kid get better. I want to see him make plays. I want to see him like J.J. McCarthy. I'm going to be honest with you, stunk the other night, but he played well at the end of the game. He made a few plays. And what did they do after the game? They treated him like a rock star. That franchise today feels 100 times better than it did a week ago because J.J. McCarthy made a few plays at the end of a game.
They also have one of the best coaching staffs in the league. Arguably,
yeah, they do.
Top to bottom, you could argue they're the best coaching staff in the league.
They do, but that's the point. And I think this is about Drake May. Pete, I think winning in Miami is doable. I mean, that was one of the worst performances. What they did, 33-8.
Yeah.
I saw the
Indy scored on every play. Indy scored on every possession.
The Palm Beach Post football writer. It was FF. It was all. I laughed when I read it. And two turnovers his first two plays, I think.
Yep.
So they're vulnerable. Their coach, and I never thought their coach was legit, even when they were, winning, making runs, winning 10, 11 games. This team is ready to implode.
Yep.
That's where a win could help. But I want to see a win with Drake May doing something, Pete. That's what I want to see.
Well, I agree. Look, and overall, the offensive line I thought played pretty decent the other day. A lot of it was just bad reads or not throwing a ball to some open guys by Drake May. And then over the Hollins overthrow was bad. A couple bad throws and a couple. I'm screaming. I can see. Rewatched the game twice. You're open. This guy's open. Just stop.
They got to run the football better, Pete. Though they got to run the football better.
But they also got to have some better play calling by Josh McDaniels at some point. I mean, I was really disappointed with some of the obvious run calls that were going to come up the middle on second and 11. It's just I didn't get some of the stuff. Stephon Diggs, they're bringing him along slowly. He's got to be able to run down the field more than 20 yards or 15 yards and do an out pattern. And I don't know if his hamstring is still bothering him or whatever it is. They got to get more involved. They got to take some shots down the field. They got to.
Listen, Stephon Diggs, I hope this isn't what he is. Kayshon Boutte basically is what it's 7 yards, throwing the ball, run 5 yards. That's not Patriots don't need that. They need 27 yards downfield. They need 3rd and 18, someone that can get open, pass 25 yards and catch the ball. That's what I thought Stephon Diggs was, and I know he's been that before. And look, he's just getting back. First hits he took. Let's give it some time. I want to see more explosiveness out of him. Kayshon Boutte, you could argue, was the MVP of the game, or Carlton Davis. Landry on defense. So they basically showed that they got a couple of guys that played well. But I overall, Pete, that was a very disappointing game.
I agree. The other thing too, and I'm very disappointed, and unless he's having real shitty practices that we don't know about, I want Chisholm III out there, and I'm not talking about. Put Stevenson on the bench if you have to. Chisholm III, I want to see him on Sunday. That guy is a spark plug. He's got to play. I'm sorry. Yep. They needed that kind of a guy in that game on Sunday. They needed him. No, I don't. He was inactive. I don't know why. I was really surprised, but I don't want to go crazy and say he's welcome and Edelman all over again. But they needed some sort of a spark, and I think that guy could have provided it. So I hope he's active this Sunday. I really do. And the other disappointing thing was with Mac Hollins. I thought there was a symmetry being developed between him and Drake May during the preseason, but he overthrew him that one time and then never really looked for him again. Mm-hmm. So I agree. I think the problems are correctable. 4 for 14 on third down sucks. They stopped them. They stopped the Raiders, 3 straight times, 3 and outs, and they only got 3 points out of it. That can't happen.
They never got Trevian Henderson the ball in space.
No.
They threw a couple of screen passes, but he got killed on both of them when he got hit right when he caught it.
They were obvious that were going to happen when they were calling it. To me, anyway.
Well, they know he's the weapon. He's really the top weapon on offense. So they doubled him, and that's what I would do the same thing. So guess what? That means a wide receiver there was a wide receiver or a tight end. Look at Hunter Henry's solid game, another solid
Yes, it
four
was.
reception game.
Yep.
He's probably the most dependable guy on the team.
Yes.
He shows up every week.
Mhm.
But Henderson is the guy. They got to get the ball to Henderson, and I just want to see. I want to see Josh, but this comes from Mike Vrabel. I want to let them. I want them to let Drake May play. I want him let him play. Let him make some plays. They got to run the ball better, Pete. Though you can't throw the ball 40. I mean, what happened is the game got away from them a little, and they couldn't run the ball. I mean, you mentioned Ramondre Stevenson. Hasn't looked good for a while. We're talking at the end of last year, running into the line 1 to 2 yards. That's the back he is, though. He's a power back.
And put them in on goal line situations if they get there. I mean, inside the red zone, 1 of 3. Mm-hmm. That's another thing. That's to me there's obvious questions here. I just think Drake May just play the game. Just play. Stop thinking too much. Stop. You're not going to get benched. Just play the game. Make better reads.
And listen, he'll make a mistake, but okay, he can also rectify that mistake, like sort of the Doug Flutie thing. Doug Flutie would make two bonehead plays. He'd make 4 great plays to make up for the 2 of them. I think this kid has a little of that in him. He just looked like he was in the wrong. He was in the wrong place, meaning he didn't look comfortable. I just want to see him play, and I think we're going to see that here in Miami. And listen, I think the Patriots still are going to win the game. I think Miami, but this is going to be the coach. The coach could get fired after this game, so we're going to see. We're going to see if this team wants their head coach there. And it looked like on Sunday. Imagine what they did. That was as bad a performance as you're going to see.
I told you they weren't going to be ready. The coaches lost all, and that's the thing. No one's really talking about the Patriots this week. It has been all about Charlie Brown, aka Mike McDaniel, and Chris Greer, about ready to lose their jobs. And no one's going to, and then this is my other theory. It's going to be really interesting because they are going to have to make a big splash. It's funny this week because the Florida Gators are in the same spot. Billy Napier is in big trouble. They're going to LSU in Death Valley. And John Gruden has had ties to the Gator program. There's a report by a very reputable talk show host up in Jacksonville that I played earlier. He seems to have some information that the Gators, not guaranteeing it, but they're going to make a big splash if Napier goes with John Gruden. And I think that Stephen Ross is going to go after Bill Belichick in the same way. And it would be absolutely unbelievable drama if McDaniel and Greer get fired, Stephen Ross pulls the trigger because he can talk to Bill Belichick. He missed on Brady. The Miami Dolphins have to make a splash. And wouldn't it be unbelievable? And I brought this up yesterday, Billy. If all hell breaks loose, they fire the coach and the GM. Ross goes after Belichick. He accepts because Hudson wants to go to South Beach, not stay in Chapel Hill, which is not out of the realm of possibility because she calling the shots. And at the end of the season, we have Bill Belichick back in Foxborough last game, coaching the Miami Dolphins against the Patriots.
You're talking this year.
This year, absolutely. They have to make knowing that he's not going to be, this may be the only time he could ever get back into the NFL. Don't rule it out that Stephen Ross does not go after him
not this year, Pete. He can't leave North Carolina now. He's got to finish. He's got to finish.
He can. He absolutely can.
They have to finish the year there. That you can't blow. I mean, they expended a lot of resources to get him. Their NIL was one of the highest in the country. They're not going to blow this up. If you're talking next year, it's interesting.
No, I'm talking this year. They have to. Stephen Ross has got to make a splash, and they didn't spend all that NIL money. They brought in 73 new players. They didn't spend a lot of NIL money. It was mediocre to average at best, I'm telling you. And half the people down there want him out anyway. And if he has it in his head that this might be the only opportunity I have left to get back into the NFL, maybe he jumps at the chance. And don't discount her opinion.
But it would happen after the year, Pete. I'm not saying that. I like that possible theory, but it would be after the season. They would bring in an interim coach. No, there's someone that's on the staff, would finish the job. They'll win 2 games. He gets a first draft pick. There's going to be like 5 great quarterbacks coming out of college this year. So this is probably a good year to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. you get Arch Manning for
Well,
one.
they got to get rid of the play. If it's not the Belichick thing, which I'm still going to cling to until I see that it doesn't happen, I still think there's a possibility. Then you got to start talking about getting rid of Tua. You got to start talking about Tyreek Hill and some of their other better players. They have to go.
Tyreek Hill's definitely getting traded. That's a done deal.
What worries me this week, I don't want the Patriots to give Tua any type of confidence. I don't want Tyreek Hill going deep or Waddle early on, and then Gonzalez looks like he didn't practice yesterday. I don't know if he's going to practice today. I'm going to go on the assumption that he's not going to play this week.
Yeah, no chance. I don't think
I hope I'm wrong, but it doesn't look like it. But don't you? I don't want to see Miami get any type of momentum at all. I hope the Patriots get the ball first. I really do, and march down the field and score. This is one of those times. I hope they get the ball first and do something with it. I don't want Tyreek Hill going off.
Listen, I think the Patriots go down there and win, but it's not going to be easy. None of these games are going to be easy. The Patriots, I think I saw it where there's 11 games where it's within 1 or 2 points. They're favorites or not favorites, and they can't lose 6 of them. Otherwise, they're only going to win 5 or 6 games. They're going to win 8 of them, and then beat maybe a Buffalo in New England. Do something you're not supposed to do.
Got Aaron Rodgers next week coming in to Foxborough.
Listen, I'm with Pittsburgh there. If you ask me today, Pittsburgh's going to beat New England next week. But that being said, I just think it's important, Pete, we focus on what's important, and that's Drake May. And they got to take the reins off a little bit, and he has to win a game. So the important thing is he goes to Miami, which they never go down there and win, Pete. Historically, it's 15%, 20% of the games over 60 years. And we're talking Brady had trouble winning down there too. If he can get down there and lead this team 23-20, it's going to be one of those games. Mark it down, 19-16. This is what it's going to be. If he can lead the team to a win, it will be a big moment for this franchise where they believe it. We don't have one of those moments yet with this quarterback. Don't have it yet.
Excuse me, I'm still getting over my massive head cold after 3 inches of rain.
You sounded tough last week, Pete.
Yeah. It was worth it, though. The win over Notre Dame was fantastic. I've never had 3 inches of rain dumped on me in 30 seconds as we were putting up our tailgate tent, helping my buddy, and then it just absolutely the skies just opened up. But anyway, so yeah, I agree with you about the scoring and all that. Hey, it'd be nice. Did you have that number? When's the last time the Patriots put up 30 points?
Yeah, it's a couple of years. I didn't have. I forgot what it was. It goes 3.5 seasons. Yeah, this is brutal. It's been brutal around here, and it was like the last 3. Really, the year Brady left, and they had the one bump when Mac Jones rookie year. I was in Buffalo for that was one of the craziest great wins I've ever been to.
Windiest ever I've ever seen any stadium. Windiest ever.
And but it's been a mess here. It's been a mess, and it's ownership. It's been Belichick. It's been the draft. We could go through many areas, and it literally started 2019. It's been downhill since.
No question about it. All right, let's shift quickly to the Red Sox. Yesterday was a throwaway game, sort of. I'm disappointed in Tully. I have high hopes for him. I still do. He was great against the debut in Pittsburgh, and then he struggled since. And he's just got to get a little more command. It was great seeing what Early did yesterday or 2 days ago. That was something. 11 Ks.
Special. 11 Ks. Forget it was 5 innings.
5 innings, 11 Ks, but I was really impressed with the poise in the 4th inning, bases loaded, and he gets back-to-back strikeouts, and outstanding. And Tully, when he's not throwing 98 miles an hour, if he could just work on his command, I think they might have something special with him, but he's not there yet. But this other kid might be.
Right. So the problem is that I think Tully they're going to keep. I think he's going to hang around, and he would be more of a spot starter. But what I see is that 2 or 3 inning potential guy in the middle of the bullpen. Yeah. And, he can come in the 4th inning, of losing 4-2 with the bases loaded and strike out 2 guys to get out of an inning. And I think that's going to be his role. He's well liked on this team, and he fits. He fits the mold. There's a lot of energy. Pete, up here, if you ask everyone, people are falling in love with this team. And they love, I think, the hope and just so much talented young faces there. And it's just like, wow, these guys sort of, they don't know what they're doing, but they're having fun and they're good. And, we got the turbulence, the plane thing there that they're doing.
Yeah.
That's still,
Still a thing.
I got to give them credit. They withstood the Roman Anthony injury, and that was a key. And it was a big win they had the other day in the third game. That was huge, very big. And what I think they got to do going forward here is, and look, the Yankees are, I know they're
not good.
a little, but
they're not good.
Just beat them 2 out of 3. You're going to have Detroit at the end of the year. Because I think the first wild card spot is the key. Listen, Toronto, they're going to Toronto in number 2.
They could take over the division by then if they do some damage there. That would be something.
And they're not going. Forget sweeps of these series. Just win 2 out of 3, and all of a sudden you're a game out with the week to go.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet on the Red Sox then. So, but it's very important to be that first wild card team. Get some home games. And then make a run at Toronto.
All right, Billy. Before I let you go, so what's your schedule like? Is Foxborough today? You headed down there today?
No, I'm gonna go to Foxborough tomorrow, and then from there I'm gonna go to Fenway Park after that, and then I'm gonna be down to Fenway for most of the weekend, if not all the weekend. So yeah, we're gonna be busy here, and then I'll watch the Patriots on Sunday. I'm very intrigued about that game, look. It's tough to win down there, Pete. I know it's a bad situation with Miami, but the history is, and that's where
I know. I'm scared to death because I've been bragging about how Miami's. I mean, I've known it from the beginning that this was going to happen. I hate the fact that the Patriots have to play them this week down there. I wish this is the 1 week that I love when they play Miami in December, but this is one time I wish they were playing in Foxborough. Although home field has not been great for the Patriots lately either. But in this,
the only thing, Pete, is Miami. This team is they're down, and I don't see a leader on the team, and that's usually
I don't either.
Right, and so that's a problem when you're trying to get guys together to come together and turn it around. This could be a runaway train, and the Patriots got to take advantage of it. Drake May's got to take advantage of it, and I think this goes back to Vrabel and Josh McDaniels. Listen, Josh McDaniels is a great coordinator. I know he's taken some hits as a head coach, and it's deserved. But he's a borderline. I don't want to call genius is a strong term, but he's done this before. He had Brady. He got Brady when Brady was becoming this legend.
Yeah.
And then I think what he did with Mac Jones was remarkable because no one else has been able to do it. No one else will be able to do it. By the way, Mac Jones might be starting, it looks like, this week.
I think he's definitely going to be starting.
Yeah.
And for one game, for the 49, I wouldn't shock.
It's a horrible team. Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. He could pull it off. But big week for Josh McDaniels. And I'm interested to see what they do with Drake May after I think they realized that they did it wrong. I heard, obviously it was mentioned, Mike Vrabel had talked about maybe there was too much on his plate. I think it was brought up, and he didn't fight that. And so I think they are going to pull back a little. And like I said, let's let him be Drake and see what happens. I'd rather do that than what we saw Sunday. That was bad.
No question about it. All right, Billy. By the way, Hector was great this week. I had him on Tuesday. He's done.
He's great.
He's not coming down here, is he?
No, he's not coming either. He's got he's up to his ears as well. So we're both busy. So, but there's a couple games coming up. We'll be on the road. At least I will. I'm going to Buffalo. That's in October, and I always get down to the Jets. The Giants are here. Tennessee. I think that's one I'm going to go to in November. So
the return is that a
yes
Monday night game? I think it might be a Monday game.
I don't know if that's no. I don't think it is. No.
Okay.
That's a revenge game for Mike Vrabel.
All right, Billy, you're the best.
Right. Great stuff.
Thanks so much, my man, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks.
All right, there he goes, Bill Burt. What's it like that? From the Eagle Tribune, joining us here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Network. Steve Buckley is supposed to join us momentarily as well. from The Athletic. But going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Steve Buckley joins us next here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network.
Hi, folks. This is Gerard Moynihan of Moynihan Lumber, and I would like you to know that our company has been selling Anderson windows for over 60 years. See the complete line of Anderson windows at any of our 3 locations in North Reading, Beverly, or in Plastown, New Hampshire, or at MoynihanLumber.com.
Hey everybody, it's Pete Sheppard from the Coastal Sports Network. Want to tell you about my good friend Lou DiMuzio and his company. Lou is the president and founder of Ace Technology Advisors. They're big-time tech specialists. At ATA, they're able to craft, implement, and manage the best and most appropriate solution for your business. They leverage their industry-leading experience and their portfolio of technology partners to improve your best practices and infrastructure. So you can get a hold of them at 888-599-4223. That's 888-599-4223. Check them out on their webpage, www.acetechadvisors.com. That's www.acetechadvisors.com. Or you can email them sales@acetechadvisors.com. Check out my friend Lou DiMuzio and Ace Technology Advisors.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Whoa! Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't.
The Pete Sheppard Show. It's fun for the whole family. If it's dysfunctional.
A 2-pitch. Line drive to left. Butler ices the game, and the A's down the Red Sox.
When you need a special delivery, who do you call? You call the Butler.
Down go the Red Sox and Chapman. Lawrence Butler.
Ah, shut up. Please, act like you won the World Series. Hated to see that yesterday, Aroldis Chapman streak. I knew it was happening too. I said, please, don't bring him in a safe situation. Lose the game. But anyway, we digress. We say good morning to the only person on the planet that comes close to Godfather knowledge like myself, from The Athletic, the one and only Steve Buckley joining us today. I can't remember the last time You invited me over to your house for a cup of coffee. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Pete. How are you today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I always enjoy hearing good Godfather talk. So these visits are always welcome at this address.
Absolutely. So how you doing? It's been a while. How you been? Look tanned, happy, and handsome. Looking good.
I am tanned actually. I was down on Long Island for like 4 or 5 days about a week ago, and I will be heading down to sort of your neck of the woods on Saturday. I'll be doing the Pats Dolphins game down in Miami, and I've got pretty good buddy of mine owns a condo in Fort Lauderdale, so I go down whenever I do the Dolphins. I stay for 4 or 5 days. You're all going to get some rain next week, which is not happy. I'm not happy to hear, but we'll make it work.
Well, look, I was at the Miami Notre Dame game we could go Sunday, and we had the torrential downpour of like 3 inches of rain in about 30 seconds. It was ridiculous, but still getting over my head cold from that. But this weekend, the Patriots Miami is supposed to be fairly quiet. What I think is going to be interesting is the field conditions because the Hurricanes, my boys, play USF at 4:15 on Saturday afternoon. So by the time everything gets done and out of there, and then you got to make sure that it's supposed to be decent weather, but then it's not a lot of time to get the field back in shape for the Miami Patriot game also. So that's something to maybe, a little side note to look out for. See what the field conditions are like after not even having 24 hours to get the field back in shape. But
Well, it's funny because I was actually down at Foxborough yesterday because I was doing something on one of the Patriots players, and I sat in on Mike Vrabel's news briefing with the media. And one of the reporters asked him, he says, well, this.
And we just lost Buck. My guess is that's a call waiting thing. That's what happens. Now we have to say, reconnect. This is what happens from time to time. Text Buck, lost you. Please reconnect. Please reconnect. Hold, please. Reconnect. All right, hopefully we will. Yes, this is what's happened in the digital world from time to time. So we're talking with hopefully getting reacquainted with Steve Buckley from The Athletic. He's getting ready to come down and cover the Patriots Dolphin game this weekend. So we'll see. As far as I know, the weather is supposed to be pretty good. Supposed to be pretty good. And there he is. He's back. There you go, Buck. Let me guess. That was call waiting. That's what happens. That was a call waiting knockoff.
I didn't get any calls. I'm doing this on my iPad.
And there you go again. He's gone. He's gone. He gone. It's going to be one of those interviews where we can't get the connection straight, but don't know why on some devices it's just people have a hard time. Sometimes people on their laptops have a hard time. Sometimes people on the phone have a hard time. But I can't get Buck on the phone today because Angel Martinez is not with us, and he controls all that in Tampa Bay, and I am here in Fort Myers, and I have no control of the phone system. Otherwise, I just put a picture of Buck up there and have Buck call in on the phone, but we can't do that. So we have to wait for Buck to try and reconnect. And I know he's wrote a column this week on The Athletic about Drake May at quarterback, and needs to start winning games. Here on the Pete Sheppard Show, we wait for Buck to reconnect. You can follow me on the awesome Coastal Sports Digital Network here. Awesome video platform. Following me at PShep326. And there is Buck again. And Buck has switched devices. Did you go to the laptop or what did you do?
I switched to my phone.
Oh, probably better. It's weird. Sometimes different devices work different ways. But anyway, you were saying you were listening to Mike Vrabel and...
Well, he was talking about, he said something along the lines of, I'm not part of the losses that we've had recently, but and then he rolled his eyes. He says, it'll be rainy, and he rolled his eyes. It'll be humid, then he rolled his eyes, as if to indicate that, that's what going to Florida is all about.
Well, yeah, and it's been a house of horrors over the years, no question about it. I mean, they've had their moments at times, but even Tom Brady struggled in Miami. But this is, I've been saying it all week, Buck. The Dolphins, one of the worst teams in the league. I predicted their last place finish way before. I didn't think they would be as pathetic in Indy as they were, but blood is in the water, and the Patriots need to attack. This is one of those games, I was just telling Billy Bird, I want them to get the ball first and go at them. Go at them. I want to see if the Dolphins have any residue of pride left. Because the one thing in the National Football League, for the most part, that has been, for me in my lifetime, is when you get humiliated in a game and you're an NFL player, you usually come back with a vengeance. But when you have Charlie Brown as a head coach like the Dolphins do, and there's no reason why anybody wants to run through a brick wall for this guy because of his style. It just ain't working. And I want to see from the Dolphins from the get-go if they decide to show up for this game. And I don't want them to get any momentum. I don't want any bombs to Tyreek Hill to start the game.
To use your name, Charlie Brown, I saw his presser the day after that game, and he really seemed like he was at loose ends. And just listening to him, it's kind of hard to grab your helmet and run out the door and, yay!
Yeah.
After listening to that. It didn't sound very inspiring.
I've been saying that down here for a couple of years, and and his record against good teams, not that the Patriots have a winning record, but his record against good teams is awful, absolutely awful. Tua looks lost after his first read, but you wrote a piece this week on Drake May, and basically got to start winning. Got to start winning some games. He's got to get better. I wasn't happy with the McDaniels game plan overall, but Drake May's got to make better. He's got to make better reads. He's got to start winning some of these games. They got to get this win Sunday. I think they will.
Well, I mean, you can talk about, okay, they need a better offensive line, which they didn't fully address in the offseason. They need a deep and powerful receiving core. They need to have more than a bunch of number 3s and 4s. They need to have a number one, a go-to guy, a diva. That they need to have that target for May. Now, putting all that aside, on their first drive of the game, he drops back. He just needs to toss a little pass for first down, and he overthrows his receiver.
Hollins, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's not on the offensive line. That's not on receiving.
Absolutely.
That's on him making a bad decision. So, and so there's three different things at play. There's offensive line, there's receiving, and I'll even give him. He's got his second new coach in 2 years. He's got his second new offensive coordinator. I get that, but at some time he has to step up at some point.
Yeah, and I want to see Henderson get more touches, and there's a lot. And Stephon Diggs, I hope that's not the best Stephon Diggs we're going to see, because he's got to be able to do a couple of post patterns and flag patterns and get out there past 10 yards and do an out or in route. He's got to be. Booty was awesome, but they need to. Stephon Diggs has got to be at least 85% of what he can be, which means they got to take some shots down the field with this guy. That's why they got him. And I hope he's better. Gonzalez ain't going to play tomorrow on Sunday, that's for sure. He's not going to practice today again, so they're missing him. I just don't want to see Miami get the ball first, come out, throw a bomb to Tyreek Hill or Waddle, and then all of a sudden, I'm good. Because if they lose this game, Buck, I'm telling you, I'm going to have a conniption.
So I need to ask you a question from a how the sausage is made viewpoint. You're sitting here talking Patriots from like Patriots bent, even though they're playing the South Florida team on Sunday. So my question to you is, given your pro Patriots bent, is your audience a bunch of expats, Pats fans who now live in South Florida?
We are heard. I can tell you this, that this program is heard in all 50 states, including Alaska and Hawaii, obviously, and in 54 different countries. My producer, Angel Martinez, who's under the weather and is in Tampa, or as you say, Tamper. He's up there, but keeps track all of this stuff. So we have listeners all different kinds, all over the world and all over the country. So, but I shit on the Patriots when they deserve to be shit on, like I did all of last year, and for the most part earlier this week. Very upset with all of that. But I try to be a realist about it. The one thing I've known for the last couple of years is the Miami Dolphins are in horrible shape, and it starts at the top. Starts with Stephen Ross down to Chris Greer, down to Charlie Brown, Mike McDaniel. I mean, and what's going to be interesting down this neck of the woods this week is if the Florida Gators get blown out at LSU at Death Valley, because Billy Napier's job is on the line, and Mike McDaniel could very well get fired if they lose this game to the Patriots. I believe he will. I mean, it is going to be a cluster bleep down here. Crazy stuff. John Gruden's been linked to the taking over the Florida Gator program. There's my theory of Stephen Ross going after Bill Belichick even this year. Because it might be Bill's only last time to get a head coaching job. Stephen Ross has got to make a splash. He's got to make a splash. And, my little conspiracy theory is that happens and Bill coaches against the Patriots when Miami comes up there the last game of the year in December. I'm hoping for that. That's my conspiracy.
I don't know. I
theory.
think Bill's kind of on the outs with the NFL inner circle right now, given some of the things he's done.
No, but that's why I'm saying this might be his last shot, and Stephen Ross knows that. Stephen Ross missed on Brady. We all know he tried to get him, didn't happen, and this may be his last shot to make a gigantic splash. And why not go after Bill? Him getting it out of North Carolina, that's easy. It depends on what Jordan Hudson wants to go to South Beach. She doesn't want to stay in Chapel Hill. We all know that,
right?
So interesting theory by me.
Now, are you? I know you're calling Charlie Brown and all that. Have you always been down to McDaniel, or is this like a new thing with you?
Yeah,
or?
no, always been down on him. Never been a fan. I don't know where he got this reputation, and I'm sure this is all professional. It's not personal. I'm sure he's a fine person. He's probably a good coordinator, a good consultant, offensive consultant, whatever. He is not a head coach. He doesn't inspire anybody.
Story, and I'm a storyteller. That's the way I write. And what was your ball boy with the Seahawks or something 1,000 years ago? And I like that story. And I've always, I'm not saying I rooted for him, but you do root for the story. And I thought that was pretty cool. So
I'm with you. I like your story.
Charlie Brown, and you're upset.
I'm with you in the stories and all that stuff. And you just summed it up. I've been saying for 2 years, that guy inspires nobody. I mean, if you just heard him speak and didn't say some of the names and just said George Smith instead of Tua Tagovailoa, you'd be like, who is this peewee football coach? He inspires nothing, and he's absolutely lost. He lost the locker room last year. He had Tyreek Hill quit on him at the end of it. He said he wanted out. So one of two things are going to happen here. Either somehow they put off a miracle win against the Patriots. The Patriots win, he gets fired, or whatever reason, they keep him on for a couple of weeks, and they're going to have to start trading some of the better players, like Tyreek Hill or whatever. They can't go on the way they're going on. But again, starts at the top with Stephen Ross, who's a little wishy-washy himself, to be honest with you. I mean.
Well, the only thing I disagree with is everything you just said. The only thing I disagree with is that it would be a huge upset for the Miami Dolphins to win this game. I was at the Patriots game last Sunday, and they didn't strike me as a team that can beat anybody right now. And the Raiders are not going to go 14-3. And the Raiders are a team with their own problems, and they came in here and beat the Patriots. So
let me rephrase. I didn't mean it the way they came outside, because this game scares the crap out of me. Because, like I said, I don't want the Miami Dolphins to get any type of momentum. Of course, they can win the game. It's been a house of horrors down there on the whole. Even when Brady was playing, it wasn't great against Miami. They had their moments a couple of times, but yeah, I know that just stepping into that stadium is just going to be a pain in the ass. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy, but I'm saying they need to know there is blood in the water here. They should play the Jaws theme in their headsets the entire flight down. And do not let that bastard Tua Tagovailoa breathe, because you get rid of his first look and he panics. He absolutely panics. It was brought up by Xavier Howard this week and others. I've gone back and watched it. I'm telling you that, and Mike McDaniel has lost that team. So go after him early, and don't let them breathe. Get in their heads early, and then the Mike McDaniel era will be over. Hopefully.
Well, Pete, if Bill Belichick ends up coaching the Dolphins this year, I'm going to be the lead to my column in The Athletic will be Pete told us so. So.
And the reason why it sounds maybe outlandish, and Billy Burr, we were talking about, he said, well, that would probably happen next year. Why wouldn't it happen this year? Why would Stephen Ross, who needs to make a big splash in this thing, why would he wait? Why would he wait? And why would Belichick not jump at the chance to get back in the NFL? Because it might be his only chance to do it. Is to do it, and I think half the people in North Carolina want him out anyway. And don't discount if it does come up about the the Jordan Hudson situation.
If
She's in
if
charge. She's
Belichick
in
ends up
charge,
with the
no doubt
Patriots, I
about
want you to come on with me, and I want you to say, "Sonny liked my idea, didn't he? And you knew it was the right thing to do."
I love it. Steve Buckley from the Athletic. All right, let's switch gears. First of all, and I'm pissed at myself. I meant to have you on the Wednesday or the day before you had your 31st annual old time baseball game in Cambridge, which I'm sure was, as usual, a magnificent success for whatever local charity you had. But talk about that for a second here, and then we'll get into the Red Sox with you a little bit.
Well, actually, it was really cool what happened. Our game was supposed to be on Wednesday night, and we were going to have Brock Holt play with us. The understanding was if the game got rained out and moved to Thursday, that he wouldn't be able to be there because he had to be back in Nashville. So the game did get moved to Thursday. We did get a bunch of rain. So we had no headliner, but we were going to honor Gus Quattlebaum, who is the scouting director of the Red Sox, who has MS, and our charity is an MS fundraiser in Boston, the Boston Home. Gus, on his own, knowing we're not getting Brock Holt, calls up Rich Hill, who's his buddy, who had just been released by the Kansas City Royals 3 weeks earlier. And Rich agrees to come to the game, but not to pitch. And then he gets there and he thought it was old timers, but he saw that it was college players. And he said, "Oh, I'll pitch." So we actually had a guy, Rich Hill, in our game, who 3 weeks earlier was pitching in the big leagues for the Kansas City Royals. He pitched 2 innings, played 2 innings at first base, played a couple of innings in left field. We put it out there that morning. It got picked up by a lot of media that Rich Hill was pitching in our game after being released by the Royals. And we had a huge crowd. So it worked out great.
All right, let's get into this Red Sox team. Obviously, they've been a whole lot of fun to watch. I think so far they are at least surviving the loss of Roman Anthony towards the end of the season. Off today, 3 big games coming up with the Yankees. Tigers just blasted them twice by double digits. It's unbelievable. Tolly yesterday, I have a lot of high hopes for him. Early, obviously, what he did 2 nights ago was fantastic. The 11 Ks in 5 innings, and very impressed with his poise when the bases were loaded in the 4th, and you get out of it with back-to-back Ks. Tolly he looks like Godzilla out there, he's throwing 98 miles an hour. Just going to work on his control a little bit and maybe develop more consistently a couple more pitches. But overall this year, your overall thoughts on this Red Sox team, and just 3 games behind the Blue Jays for the division, tied with the Yankees for the wild card. Very
They've been
fun team.
infuriatingly frustrating at certain points, particularly in the midpoint of the season when they didn't seem to know how to play baseball, frankly. Overrunning the bases, throwing behind the runner, and so forth. There were a lot of bad things happening. And I'm still not in favor of the Devers trade. It was a salary dump through and through. Let's not kid ourselves.
Yep, absolutely.
And this whole and the Red Sox cleverly put out this narrative that a lot of people ate up. Well, he was a bad guy in the clubhouse and so forth. And I'm comfortable saying that every winning team in the history of sports has had a couple of guys in the clubhouse that weren't happy. Do we agree on this?
Absolutely. Can you imagine some of these fan bases had to deal with the A's in the early 70s?
Exactly. So if you're telling me that, and then they were playing the horror, these young guys come, Marcelo Meyer, Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell when he was here, and all these guys, they were going to gravitate toward Bregman anyway. He's the old guy in the team. He's got the iPad. We always saw those shots. Who cares if Devers is sitting by his locker being morose? That it wasn't like he was throwing chairs or attacking people. It wasn't that situation at all. It was a salary dump. But anyway, they could use his bat in the lineup right now. And the fact is, he's not here. The return they got was terrible. They could have gotten a better return on that deal if they put up some of the money, but the Giants are willing to pick up the entire contract, so they end up with these 2 bums. And that they didn't get the best return on the deal unless you look at it solely through the lens of dumping the contract. I know Sox fans get upset when I say that, but that's the way I see it. Now, having said all that, it's an exciting team. It's a young team. It's an entertaining team. It's got personality. Durant makes great catches. Rafaela makes great catches. uh, the starting pitching on the younger side now. We're getting these young guys coming in there. Chapman, not counting yesterday, has been a world eater. It's a fun team to watch, and I would love to see them make it into October. And we haven't had October baseball in Boston in 4 years. I know that fans in other markets would roll their eyes when I say that because their team hasn't won a series or whatever in 1,000 years. I'm sorry for them, but I don't work out of those cities. I work out of Boston, and we judge things on playoffs and championships. That's the way the 21st century has gone.
No question about it. All excellent points, Steve Buckley from The Athletic. And I do think, to use Parcells, just getting the tournament, I do think when you have Crochet, you have Giolito, Bayo, and then you get one of these kids to step up as well. Now we're talking, 4 good starters going into the postseason, which is even with the lack of not Rafi Devers. By the way, how come nobody realizes? Didn't they win 9 in a row before they made that trade? Had they won not 9 in a row with Devers in the lineup before they made that deal, if I'm not mistaken? But
I don't know if it was 9 in a row, but they swept the Yankees.
Yeah.
I remember it was a Sunday afternoon. I was at that game. I wrote a column saying, wow, they just swept the Yankees. Here come the Red Sox. And I was walking from Fenway to Copley Square to meet it's about a little less than a mile, to meet some friends for dinner. I got as far as Mass Ave when my phone rang, and it was my editor saying, hey, did you see this thing on Devers? And I looked at it, oh, damn.
Goes
And
dinner.
I had to text my friend saying, hey, sorry, no dinner. And I hopped on an Uber right there and went home and wrote a whole new column. So I was not happy that day, Pete.
No, I know. You don't want that. All right, so what else? An exciting series coming up this weekend. Again, don't want to give the Yankees any momentum. The Red Sox pretty much own them this year, but we all know look, this is a different series. They're both fighting for the same thing, the top wild card spot, and the division for that matter, because the Blue Jays are only up by 3. So what are you expecting this week? I thought there was going to be some fireworks the last series a couple weeks ago in New York, and there really wasn't. Great stuff by the Red Sox, winning 3 out of 4. But I'm waiting for that game, the brushback pitch, something goofy to happen, and the bench is clear. I don't know if it will. Yeah, I hope if it does, it's justified. It's not some sort of stupid
Well,
idiot.
one of my favorite moments of the entire season, I was not there. I was watching on TV when Roman Anthony hit the home run at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And then did the little bat toss and stared at the ball and walked up the first base line. And some people said, "Oh, what's he doing that for?" And that, to me, that's Roman Anthony putting his stamp on the rivalry and saying, "I'm not afraid of the Yankees. I'm not afraid of this rivalry. This is not Carlton Fisk's rivalry anymore. It's not Yaz's. It's not Big Poppy's. It's not Pedro Martinez's. This is ours." And I'm going to put my stamp on it. I loved it, and it's really a shame he's hurt, that he's not going to be playing in this series. If the Red Sox did play the Yankees in the postseason, it would be the wild card round. And if it is, Roman Anthony won't be there. They're hoping that the Sox can make it to the ALCS and that Anthony would return then. But the biggest loss of this series is that Anthony won't be out there, and he might have been brushed back. Who knows?
Lastly, is either today or yesterday was the anniversary, and I think you were at this game, the 17 strikeout game, the Chili Davis home run in the second inning.
I was at that game. Yeah, I was there with Tony Maserati. And
yes, one of the greatest pitch games in Red Sox history. And it was, I went back and watched the highlights today because it popped up on my Facebook page, and man, it was sick what he did.
I remember thinking that night, it was a Friday night, and I think the Patriots played the Jets that Sunday. So there was a lot going on down there. And what I'll never forget about the Friday night game, and Joey Davis hit the home run, as you pointed out. Pedro did not get a shutout. Pedro did not throw a no-hitter, and he did not get 20 strikeouts. Yet, I still say it's the best pitch game I've ever seen. That's how he dominated. The Yankees were swinging off 1/4. It was what an overpowering game by him.
Yeah, the call, the upside down case looking were unbelievable. They were just as many. It might have been even 9-8, but yeah, absolutely. He had them absolutely baffled. Yes, and I do because everybody always considered. Well, what about Clemens' 220 strikeout with 86 and 96, Seattle, and then Detroit. But you're right. I agree with you. It was an unbelievable night for the Red Sox, and we shall see, my friend.
I
Thank
think that was I'd have to look it up. I think that was a Friday night, and then on Sunday, Patriots played the Jets, and I think that's the game where Vinny Testaverde hurt his ankle, was it?
Yes.
And went out in the first quarter. That was that.
Yep.
All that stuff happened the same weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And wasn't also the weekend too? Was at that game where I forget what it was. I remember Lou Maloney making an unbelievable stop at second base. I think with the bases loaded, that kind of saved the game for that weekend. I think it was the same weekend. It could be off by a year, but anyway,
That I don't remember, but Lou made many great catches, so I don't doubt you at all.
he's doing a great job on this. And by the way, I'm not just saying
He's
that.
a star.
He's awesome. He always points things out that you don't pay attention to. Does a great job.
No, he's a star, and I'm very happy for him. He's a good buddy of mine, and I couldn't be happier for him.
All right, so you're with the Athletic. Everything else is going great. When's your next column coming out?
I got one out right now that just came out on Terrell Williams, who's the defensive coordinator, who's
Yes.
had a bunch of health setbacks, and we wish him the best. And I don't think he's going to make the trip. And I have a piece coming out, I think, next week or the week after, on a player who played one major league game in the 1960s, and that's all I'm going to say. But it's a very interesting piece that I spent a lot of time on, and I think you'll enjoy it.
All right, last little thing here too, and maybe you weren't when the kid broke or tied Don Ossie's record the other night, and I was 10 years old in '77. Red Sox had 8 gazillion home runs a game. You weren't covering that game back then, were you? We still in college? I know it might have been just a hair ahead of when Buck was. Covering baseball. But Don Ossie, I remember with all the other teams, I don't remember much of him with the Red Sox, but that particular, were you around for that game?
I was around, but not. I was still in college. I was going to my senior year in college. I wish I could say, I covered Babe Ruth and all that. I have a lot of fun with that on Twitter. People always say, ask Buck, he was there, and I always put out something like, no, I was covering the Paris Peace Stocks that winter.
Or the Maine Black Bears baseball team, Billy Swift, and of course Buck. The Rick Rhoden years is always one of my favorites. All right, my friend. Thank you so much for taking a few, and let's do this again. Sooner rather than later when playoff baseball comes around. We're not too far off from that. All the best up there. Or safe travels down here. I will not be. I'll be watching on TV. But safe travels.
Yeah, Pete.
Okay, bud. Take care. There he goes. It is Steve Buckley, just like that. And we're getting ready for celebrity chef Derek Fox, who's going to join us in just a second here as we get ready to talk to him about food and football. You might remember him from season 6, runner-up on MasterChef on Fox. He's the adopted son for Gordon Ramsay. Gordon loves him to death, and Chef Derek Fox hopefully will be joining us. Oh no. He says you should. And Angel said he emailed you the link. You should have it under Angel Martinez. See, Buck didn't think he had the link either, but he did. So we wait for Derek Fox. Again, thanks everybody for checking us out here on the Coastal Sports Digital Network, on the awesome video platform that we have. Following me at PShep326 on X, on CSDN Florida, on YouTube, Rumble, Kick, LinkedIn. We're on the awesome Odyssey app now as well. We are heard in 55 countries now and in all 50 states. It's been absolutely fantastic. Hopefully Angel Martinez will be rejoining us tomorrow up in Tampa. By the way, for the best articles and audio, there's only one source that provides everything you need 365 days a year to satisfy your sports crave. It's Total Sports Prep. The staff combing through the best articles and audio so you don't have to. The sports and non-sports kicker stories will leave you laughing all day long. To get your free trial of Total Sports Prep, contact them. Info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. That's info@sportsbroadcastingcoach.com. Total Sports Prep, the name says it all. And hopefully we will reconnect with one Celebrity Chef Derek Fox in just a minute or so here. Once he gets the link. In the meanwhile, let's see. Let's go back and, in case you missed it, Mike Vrabel, Patriots head coach, talking about facing Tua Tagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins.
We're certainly going to have to make them earn it, and we're going to have to find ways to get the drive stopped, right? You either have to do what the Colts did, which was turn it over, or you're going to have to, make a play along the way and make them earn it. Pick and choose your spots to try to be, aggressive. And it's not just Tyreek. I mean, they got a fantastic, orchestrator. I mean, Tua does a fantastic job of knowing where he wants to go with the ball. Quick delivery. He's extremely accurate. And then the speed with Waddle and, Tyreek and the whole team. And then they have a fullback that has versatility and can play on the end of the line of scrimmage, motions. Usually every big play, he's kind of in the run game. He's somewhere near it.
All right. Meanwhile, let's get yesterday. Mike Florio on yesterday with Devin McCourty and talked about the Miami Dolphins on Pro Football Talk.
Devin, I've been saying I wasn't sure of many things going into the season. One thing I was sure of is the Dolphins were going to struggle because I don't think this talk, because it's just talk. It's not action. It's talk. We're going to talk. Well, we're going to change the culture. We're going to do this. And it never changes. We're going to do all these things, and it never changes. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. It's like the guys, I'm going to go to the gym every single day starting tomorrow, and I'm going to talk about it. And then it's...
All right, we'll get back to Mike Florio another time. But joining me right now, and there he is, the one and only celebrity chef, Derek Fox, joining us from the great state of Texas, I am assuming. Good morning, Chef. How are you doing?
Man, good morning. I wish you could have seen me trying to get set up over here this morning. Again, my alarm didn't wake me up.
Oh, shit.
And I even went to bed early. I'm just needing sleep or something.
Well,
also,
when you do the show, think of it like getting the mirepoix ready, right? You boop, 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 boop. Everything's pre-sliced and everything, and then you just have to, season.
Yeah, I'm in a new place. I got a new room. I'm trying to find cords and cables and chargers and headphones.
Congratulations, by the way. I've seen pictures of your lovely home. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You're loving it. You're absolutely loving it.
It's the best. I'm in my room. That's going to be my podcast room. My ring light died on me, literally setting it up. So I had to find a backup ring light. I mean, I looked like a chicken with no head running around here this morning. Plus, you even gave me an extra hour today, and it's still... it wasn't enough.
Well, I wasn't sure you could come on because last time, even though we had a technical issue, but because I think you
normally I'm off into the kitchen already.
Yeah, you're on at 8:15. I know you had to get out by 8:45, and I didn't know what your work schedule was like, so I don't want obviously you got to do what you got to do.
Today I got lucky. I got the day off. Too bad there's some football later. Who's playing tonight?
Green Bay hosting Washington. Should be a very good game of the NFC. And then if you like college, you got Wake Forest hosting North Carolina State as well. But now you're a Bronco fan, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. I hit a double parlay this weekend. I bet the money line on the Broncos, and I bet that Dobbins would score a touchdown. And I was freaking out because all game they were not playing Dobbins. He ran like one run, and I got so upset. I was like all the penalties and everything. I turned the game off in the third quarter, and we were headed to the airport. We were in Phoenix, and I flipped the game back on my phone. I was like, let me just check. And I flip it on, and like 2 plays later, Dobbins runs that 20-yard touchdown. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I just won.
Well, it's good you bet the money line because they didn't cover the 8.5. I actually took my buddy Cam Ward, and that offensive line for Tennessee was not very good at all. He took up a couple of bad sacks, but he'll be all right. But your Broncos, hey, they're 1-0. So so I was going to ask what you had at your home to eat, but you obviously were in Arizona. So what was that? So where were you watching the game mostly?
We were watching mostly at my parents' house. I made blueberry pancakes, bacon, and a Gordon Ramsay style scrambled eggs.
Oh shit!
All from scratch.
I'm so hungry right now as it is, because I don't eat a lot before this.
Oh, you love pancakes, right?
I love when I can. I love pancakes, but since I'm type 2 controlled diabetic, I like whole wheat pancakes. But I would certainly have one of your pancakes. And what's the Gordon Ramsay scrambled egg special? I mean, we all have our ways of making scrambled, but what's his way of doing it that you copied?
Well, it's the French style. So I
Yeah,
just say Gordon Ramsay because
yeah,
most
I
people know it
understand.
that
Yeah,
way. So it's a French style scrambled egg. You cook it slow. You start with a cold pan. You put all your eggs in whole, and you put butter in, like dobs of butter,
yeah.
and then with the heat, you're whisking the eggs and the butter, and you keep the heat low on and off the heat, and it just gets them really light and fluffy and airy. Yeah,
It
it's good
sounds
stuff.
wonderful. Absolutely sounds wonderful. After the show, after we get done with this interview, I might have to do that. I'm really freaking starving right now. I got to be honest with you. But typically, so when you're at your parents, so you made blueberry pancakes, you made scrambled egg. What about so the game was on? Yeah, because the game was on at what 10 o'clock over there, right?
It was one. It ended
Oh,
up being
1
1
o'clock. 1
o'clock.
o'clock. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought it was 10 o'clock. It was gonna be 1 o'clock.
yeah.
We were honestly eating leftover food from their anniversary party, so we were having mac and cheese and fried chicken, and we made like chicken sliders. But
Did you cater? You didn't have to cater it, did you?
no, they pieced it together, and honestly, don't get barbecue in Arizona. I had the worst. I didn't even eat it. This brisket showed up, and it was the worst brisket on planet Earth. I told my dad, I said, "Don't." I was like, "Dad, don't even serve it. Take that back and get your money back." It was gray looking brisket just floating in broth. It was just floating in broth.
Broth.
Yeah, I don't know. That showed up.
Oh my God! No, thank you. Jeez Louise,
No way.
There's nothing worse than that. Now, did anybody there that was bringing food ever feel intimidated because you were there? And I'm sure your family not, but I mean, but everybody like, oh boy, this better be good. Because
Yeah, I mean, I made the macaroni and cheese.
Okay.
Because I just was like, I'll do that for you, mom. Mom asked, I did it. And then everyone loved that, and the chicken was good. Yeah, people were asked. We had a really great chef, Chef V. If you look her up, she's a pastry chef, and she made all kinds of different pies, like blueberry pie, cherry, peach, apple, chocolate cream pie, coconut cream pie, and she dropped off a bunch of them. It was a Grand Marnier pear pie. It was
you're killing me.
So we ate all that and watched football. It was amazing. I mean, that's what I wish you could get at a game. A nice, like, little personal apple pie or peach cobbler in the fall,
Yeah.
Oh.
You wish, but like you said, all these stadiums are controlled by a couple of food companies and Cisco and whatnot, and the real chefs get screwed. It's unfortunate.
Hey,
It's
I
really
think
unfortunate.
from our words to God's ears, I saw an advertisement the other day. It was like an in-between game. When like not even an advertisement, they're just like they're interviewing or they're doing random pieces, and they were doing a piece on the food at SoFi, and they were elevating some stuff. They had some like chicken tinga skewers and these like fresh made empanadas with like this cilantro avocado crema. I was like, now we're talking. I think enough people have complained about SoFi being so big and so nice. Like it looked like they were actually finally starting to elevate the food.
That's all well and good. I'm glad. How much did that cost though? $50 for a plate of that stuff? I mean, that stadium is off the chart. You got a mortgage and give up your first child to eat there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think they definitely didn't air the prices.
No kidding.
But I mean, the empanada was like this big, so
Yeah.
maybe like 22.
Yeah. And then the drinks are 25. Just
Yeah.
get a tiny shot of
Man.
vodka soda or whatever. So your Broncos are in Indianapolis this week, and
Yeah, what do you think about that? Indianapolis whoop the pants off of Miami.
I thought for the last really, I think the Dolphins are the worst team in the league. I said it this year, and
Okay.
I didn't think they would be as horrible as they were against Indianapolis. That's why my Patriots this week coming down to Miami, they got to redeem themselves from that half-assed effort they had against the Raiders, and I think they would because Mike McDaniel is probably going to get fired if they lose this game. He should have been fired already. I call him Charlie Brown because he's so wishy-washy, coaching the Miami Dolphins. I think he's lost that team. They don't play hard for him. You listen to him speak, and it sounds like some guy coaching a Pee Wee football team. So I think
Well,
the
look.
Patriots are gonna get. But your Broncos in Indianapolis.
Well, look, if they let Mike go, he's definitely got a career as a club promoter or drug dealer. I mean, look at the way he dresses. Dress for the job you want, right?
It's unbelievable. It really is. And
I actually like it. I like his style. He actually stands out. Too bad he just can't back it up.
I don't mind standing out, but you don't in the NFL. You don't listen to a guy talk like that and feel like you have to run through a brick wall for him. He just doesn't have that persona. And I'm not saying everybody has to be that kind of a guy, but he's lost it. He's lost that team, and I just hope the Patriots smell blood in the water, go after him. But your Broncos this week in Indianapolis is a really interesting game, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game at all. I think your Broncos can play a lot better.
Yeah,
And,
I think. I mean, they talked about it. They were like every time there's like that one pass interference call that just like was blatant that wasn't called, and those kind of calls change games, and we had a lot of those on moments that should have been big plays. I think there was a lot of nerves going into that game, and Bo just needed to just shake that off. I think this game he's definitely going to come out swinging. I think the Colts are going to be coming off of a high beating Miami, but still, like you said, like worst team in the league. Like that's going to be a just like an altered high. Like they're going to come in and then they're going to get hit with that Broncos defense, and they're going to be like, "Wait, this is not Miami."
No, and they scored on every possession against Miami, whether it be a touchdown or field goal. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and this weekend the Broncos didn't give up a touchdown. So,
are you able to watch again? It's a 4:00 game. So what? 2:00 where you are in Texas, right? So what's your plans for this Sunday?
If it's 4:00 your time.
4:00 Eastern time, yeah.
So then it'll be 3:00 for me.
Oh, 3 an hour difference. That's right, it's an hour difference. Yeah, 3:00.
That's weird.
3:00.
I have not watched a 3:00 game. Yeah, I'll definitely be watching it. Yeah.
What's like I said, we like to do themes at whatever house we're partying at this week, and do the away team theme. So for Patriot fans, be Miami, even though I live in Florida. But obviously, so I'm thinking about Cuban sandwiches this week. But for you, like when you're home and you can relax and watch the game. What's your cuisine like for a Broncos post game?
I get so stressed. I don't even like to eat. It's just tequila on the rocks.
Gotcha.
But no, I think a fun one. I think if I was to have fun with this for Denver, I would be doing some dry rub smoked wings. I think that would be good. I would go, or maybe like an homage to Bojo's Pizza. It's really big in Colorado. Get like make a wheat dough pizza, and then maybe like a hot honey chicken pizza. I think that would be a lot of fun. A little hot honey to dip the crust, and then man, maybe some kind of like apple Waldorf salad. I know that doesn't. I think that would. And then what I actually think is a lot of fun for the Broncos is I did a Blue Moon commercial, and I made Blue Moon Jello shots, but I made them blue and orange Broncos colors, and I served them in the rind of the orange. So look, you take a little Blue Moon and some blue Jello, some orange Jello, and make little orange cups, and you fill them. And then when they've solidified, you slice them, and it's cool little like Jello, beer flavored Jello shots.
What's your favorite dry rub? You talked about it. I like garlic parm myself. I'm not overly fussy about it because I like them all. But
I like it.
what's your favorite dry rub when you do?
I like a jerk. I like a jerk dry rub. Little sweet, a little tang. It's got that cardamom in there. Yeah, jerk. I'm kind of getting into jerk right now.
Yeah, no, it's a different way. It's obviously a different way of cooking. Why? Some people think that jerk chicken is dry, but I know it's maybe. I mean, tell me about what's the difference between a jerk,
The
jerk
the
chicken and
the
regular chicken wings?
the seasoning and the style. Jerk is the seasoning.
Yeah.
The style of cooking is up to the cook. If the chicken's coming out dry, that's on the cook, not the cuisine itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just the person cooking it. So you just gotta take it home, do it yourself, do it somewhere else. I mean, with chicken wings, I've even sous vide chicken wings before just to try it and see it. And man, they come out so juicy that way. They'll literally fall off the bone. You have to actually be careful. But sous vide them and then fry them. But that's obviously not a dry rub situation. Dry rub, just low and slow. If you got a smoker, smoke them.
Yeah, absolutely, no question. Chef Derek Fox joining us here on the Pete Sheppard Show on the Coastal Sports Digital Network. A couple of things I've always wanted to ask. See, being the 100% Italian guy that I am, and the olive oil in my blood and all that stuff, the one thing that still grinds my gears, and I know this part of cooking has changed a little bit, but your thoughts on where do you stand as far as shellfish and cheese? And I've always thought, well, in my life, I said, well, geez, it's oysters Rockefeller. But there's something about when people have like a frutti di mare or something like that, or any kind of shellfish, besides oysters Rockefeller, and start dumping cheese all over the place, even lobster mac and cheese. I've had it, and I know it tastes good, but I feel my grandparents all rolling over in their graves. Well, what is your stance on fish and cheese overall?
Well, overall, I'm definitely not going to stick like a slice of cheddar on a tuna sandwich.
Yeah.
That's also not shellfish, but you know what I mean. But like, I think there's exceptions to all rules. Lobster mac and cheese is phenomenal, especially when I make it.
I know, and I'm sure it is.
So that is like, yeah, there's exceptions to all rules. Lobster mac and cheese being one of them. I think a good shrimp scampi. Yeah, I don't know. I guess Parmesan shouldn't really go on there, but I guess for some people, Parmesan's okay because it's more salty than cheesy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're kind of adding flavor there. But also like a seafood ravioli, that's okay to me. I think it really depends on the pasta. It depends on the sauce. But yeah, like a cioppino, no. Don't you like if someone puts cheese on a cioppino, like throw them out of the restaurant.
What about? Do you have any, do's and don'ts for tailgating? Is every people besides birds and dogs and all that stuff. But do you have any tips? Like, what would you advise? I guess it matters the weather and all that stuff. What would you like to see at a tailgate? What would you do?
Good question. That's actually why I brought up smoked wings. I think you really want to avoid messy foods. Like, the worst thing, you're thinking, oh no, I can handle it. I'll be good. But then you're at the tailgate, you're a few drinks in, and then you're like, oh yeah, those buffalo wings look so good right now. And then you're walking into the stadium covered in orange sauce. Like, I just think you got to be careful. And that's where, like, I think smoked wings, you can get a lot of flavor. You can smoke a lot at a time. It's not one of those things where you got to drop them in the fryer and get them out in 10 minutes or 8 minutes, whatever. You can low and slow those. So I think the key is smoked. I think the key is a good bun. Don't go cheap on the bun. Like, if you're going to do a burgers or hot dogs, like, don't get the crappy dollar bun. Get a bun that can hold up, and it'll just help you. I think the key is not be messy.
No, I agree. And if you don't have a smoker, but you can you can make a smoker out. You can make a smoker inside if you wanted to. But have you ever done that? You ever, without having a professional smoking gadget, you can make a smoker inside if you get the chips right? Right. I mean, you can do it.
You can definitely do it in a regular barbecue and a regular grill. It will take some cleanup, but I did enough MacGyvering on MasterChef. I try to not do it at home.
No, I'm with you. I know, but I'm saying at a tailgate, if you don't have a smoker, right? If you get the chips and can you do it in a pressure cooker? I forget how I've seen on some of these shows how it's done. But
Yeah, you can. Basically anything that you can, fill with the chips and get some distance between and put a grate in it, and then be able to cover it with some air getting through. You really can smoke in anything. It's just you're gonna have a tough time with the temperature, but they do make small little like portable smokers. But also tailgate, you can smoke them ahead of time, and then this is a little catering tip for people that don't work in kitchens. It's like just everyday work for us, but with your big aluminum hotel pans, if you throw all your chicken in there and you double layer that pan, and then you want to wrap it real tight with plastic wrap, completely seal it, and then foil. Foil will keep the heat in, and plastic will keep the steam in. And then that just keeps them really nice and juicy. So you can transport, they'll stay good in there for about an hour. And then you can just, honestly, a chafing dish, throw some heat under that. That'll keep it good. But the key is that plastic and foil. Most people don't do that. They just throw foil over it and then it dries out.
Yeah. See, I always wonder what you see the plastic go over, and I was like, why do you need both? And now you just
and you can throw it in the oven with that plastic. If you buy the good like kitchen plastic wrap, that stuff can handle like 400 degrees.
Is there, besides not having messy food at tailgates, is there any food that you should avoid bringing to tailgates? Something that would turn you off? Like, I'm not eating that. It's just not happening.
Yeah, I feel like a good office reference like potato salad. I just feel like it's tough, man. You're moving food is tough. I feel like my parents just threw this party and they had like a whole new respect for what I do, because they're just like, I don't know how you time it to all come out at the same time and good. And like I would say salad wise, like you can always dress the salad when you get to the stadium, right, or to the tailgate party or whatever. But like fall is all about like stone fruit. And so think of like rustic salads that you don't need lettuce for. Like take some peaches and some cucumbers and grill the cucumbers, grill the peaches, take big chunks of onion, grill the onion, chill it all, toss it in a really nice poppy seed vinaigrette, and then throw some feta or some mozzarella balls and throw in some dill, and then that salad can last all day and won't get wilted or soggy, and it's fall flavors. It's fun.
Yeah, and you said too, watermelon salad with some feta and
easy
peasy as well. Before last thing, because somebody asked me to ask you during season 6 of MasterChef, which you should have won. But what was the most just on that show? What was the most difficult in your life? What is the most difficult thing you've ever had to cook?
Ooh, good question. This will probably take up our last of our time.
That's okay.
So we had a challenge. We had a Black Apron challenge where Gordon and Graham and Christina came out and they each showed us their favorite pasta dish. And they were setting it up like we were going to have to choose one of them.
That's right.
And then as soon as he reveals the twist, and he's like, but the twist is you have 1 hour to make all three.
And scratch all of them.
Yeah, and all from scratch. Yeah, and it's a puzzle. It can be done. They test them all before they give us the challenge. They have to make sure that it can be done in an hour. And I remember Hethel. She was just over from me, and they didn't show it. It was off camera. She just busted out crying. She was just like, she just knew that like she couldn't do it, and she was just like defeated before it even started. And for me, that's like I'm like an athlete like that. I'm like that fuels me. I'm like, let's lock in even harder. Like I'm gonna crush this. And really, the key was you had to make the squid ink pasta and the regular pasta. Like you kind of had to do it at the same time. You had to make all the you had to like make the dough, but before you added the squid ink, you had to portion it off, add the squid ink, and then roll those doughs at the same time. Let them rest at the same time, and then you were ahead. And that was the crack to the puzzle. If you made the doughs one at a time, you'd fall behind. And so that whole season was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, and it was really waking up every morning with a knot in your stomach that someone was going home. And it's just like in the NFL, like when they get to the playoffs, it's like every morning before game day, it's like someone's going home.
All right, Chef, what do you got? What can you plug? Anything you want? What's going on? Doing the private chef thing. I know you're working on some other project, but go ahead, plug away.
Yeah, Thor. I got the Thor affiliate link. If you're trying to redo your kitchen, we got new amazing Gordon Ramsay appliances. The Gordon Ramsay stoves are amazing, and they have them all the way down into the 30-inch for people with the standard 30-inch size stove. Thor's got them. Hexclad. Obviously, the pans are amazing, and I use them in every one of my kitchens, even if they don't give them to me. Sometimes I buy them. So it's not about the endorsement, really. They really are really good pans. Just treat them like cast iron. Take care of them, and they'll last a long time. And they also got some amazing knives. And then epicmegacookie.com. I'm going to get my cookies back going up here. Now that I'm just getting settled in the house, I can get back into the kitchen and bust out some cookies. So, yeah, we're going, man.
That's awesome. And you said, so Gordon texted you on your new house. Says, hey, great job.
Gordon messaged me, congrats on the new house. I couldn't believe it. Man,
Oh,
Pete, you keep up on me, man. You should be my manager.
Oh, anytime. No, because I watch all these, and I still get aggravated. All these shows on Food Network and everything. I'm like, and I said it, to my wife, and I'm like, God, Chef Derek needs to be on this. I watch the grudge matches, and I watch, Bobby Flay and the Titans, and it was great to see the Vitaggio brothers go at it a couple nights ago. And I'm like, you would be so perfect on all of these shows. I can't stand that you're not on them.
I know. I've been avoiding TV a lot. I mean, it's just like being in the public eye right now. Everyone, it's become a dangerous place. I mean, you look at rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. It's like you get this fame, you get this on TV, and then everybody thinks they know you or has an opinion about you. And it's like, I feel like it used to be cool to be in the spotlight, and now like I do it for people around me, the people I care about, but. Stuff like this, I'll jump on for sure. But I don't know. I'm torn because I do love it, but at the same time, I'm just like, is it worth it right now? So,
well, I just like it to be offered to you, so you have the choice to turn it down or not. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I have turned down a couple, so don't worry.
All right, Pete. Chef Derek, all the best, and really appreciate you. We'll do this again soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Lots
brother.
of information there. Chef Derek Fox, check him out on Facebook, and great stuff. And he's one of the best. He's the best.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, bud. Take care. Good luck to your Broncos this week.
Thank you.
As well. There he goes. Just like that. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for the Pete Sheppard Show here on a what day? It is Thursday. So coming up tomorrow, as usual, I'll have my pigskin picks. 13-3 against the spread last week, everybody. You're not going to find a handicapper in the world that better than that. 13-3. Plus, I won my best bet on the Rams and my underdog of the week with the Iowa Hawkeyes, plus the 3.5. So I'll have all my pigskin picks tomorrow. Gabe Morency from Sports Grid is going to have his at around 9:30 tomorrow. I believe that, yes, it'll be John Meter Perel, I believe, will have his weekly visit also here on the Pete Sheppard Show, and maybe another surprise guest or two. But thanks to all my guests today. Chef Derek Fox, celebrity chef Derek Fox. If you've never seen him on MasterChef, go back and look at season 6. It's just phenomenal. Steve Buckley from The Athletic, thank you. Bill Burt from the Eagle Tribune, and Trevor Harris from WQAM. I'm back tomorrow at 7 a.m., everybody. Thanks for checking us out here. I am Pete. This is the Coastal Sports Digital Network. I am back tomorrow at 7 a.m. See ya. Bye-bye.